All right.
Is it too loud?
Outstanding. Outstanding. Rolando, where you at? He'll pull up in a little bit. Anyway, we're gonna get into it. Celeste, we're gonna start with your clip that you sent over. I'll let you kick this thing off. Oh, look at this guy. Fashionably late.
Yeah, sorry about that there,
Fashionably late, you know.
Yeah, I just, man, work, had to drive back. I'm working down south, so it's been a little rough these last couple days, and then fighting the cold and the whole nine.
I can
But
dig it. Are you on the mend though? Are you feeling better?
oh yeah, definitely. And I want to let the people in the chat know that I got my shirt. I don't know if y'all can see that, but let me go ahead and zoom in on that. You know, yeah, that's my new merch right there, tacos and fornication. So
Oh my God.
just throwing that out there right there. You see the tacos. You know what I'm saying? That's how we roll over here.
I'm
You know
done.
what
I'm
saying?
done.
So
Good night, wise. I'm done. I'm done.
So, merch coming soon. Holla at your boy. You know what I mean? And I ain't talking to the righteous perspective people in the audience. I'm talking to all my sinners out there. Okay, put your order in now for your tacos and fornication shirt. Cause they gonna go out. They going out quick. I already got an order from Joshua. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure I get an order from Spaces before the end of the night. So
hey, you already know
get
who
them. They hot.
Out version. You already know who wants the order out version.
Oh,
yeah.
Crystal, what are your thoughts on the tacos and fornication t-shirt? What are your thoughts?
He should have been present for cuffing season 2025 exposed. That's what he should have been present for. We had a great conversation about soul ties.
Look, who don't love beautiful women and tacos?
Oh my
Okay?
gosh.
Jesus.
You got guys pay
cannot.
thousands of dollars to go down to Punta Cana, you know what I'm saying, and get some tacos and some hot women. All right.
Oh my gosh.
That's all I'm saying.
Some of those women
That's
aren't
all I'm
even
saying.
women. The fact that you
Huh?
said that some of those women aren't even women. So that's very concerning. Because I know people who went down here, and some of them ain't women. I'm just saying, I know people.
Hey, that's Mexico. We ain't talking about Thailand. Where your brain at?
No, they're in Mexico. Don't get it twisted. They're in Mexico.
Okay.
Listen,
we're gonna get this. We're gonna get this under order. Y'all tripping. I don't want this to go left.
I'm the master of figuring out who's who. Ask Celeste. All right. I already gave her a lesson. I already gave her a lesson on how to figure out the boys from the girls. You know what I'm saying?
No.
Knuckles and Adam's apples. I say it all the time.
Not when you put apples and potato salad.
I did say that, didn't I?
You put apples and potato salad, so you ain't even allowed to tell us because you put apples and potato salad. That's it.
Here we go. All right. She gonna pick on me about some apples. Here we go.
Last but not least, let me bring up the sister Dion. How you doing this evening, Dion?
Good.
That was not for your sanctified ears. You hear me? That wasn't for you. I didn't want to bring you up with his foolishness going on. I wanted to hold off for a second.
Hey, why? She's the inspiration for the shirt. I gotta give Dion credit because she was the inspiration for the shirt. Last week when I brought up the topic, she said tacos and fornication. And it stuck in my brain. And I said, you know what?
Oh my gosh.
I said, you know what? I'm gonna go ahead and have that printed up. I went down, I see my Indian guy. I was like, yo, print me a tacos and fornication shirt.
He was his first order.
That's what
Oh my gosh.
That's pretty funny.
Wow.
Oh
wow.
Wow.
So thank you, Dion. You're so inspirational. You are my muse.
Oh my God.
Yeah, Ro, you're getting a lot of hate in the chat right now. Look at that.
Oh man.
You're getting a lot of hate in the chat right now.
I can't disagree with that one. He was kind of spot on with that one.
Yet you have not shown up to Bible study. You need Jesus and you ain't shown up to Bible study not once.
Goodness gracious. Y'all, yeah, Rolando, you a trip, bro. You a trip, bro. Goodness gracious. We're going to get the show started. I'm going to play this first clip. Celeste, I'll give you the first word on this, and we'll go from there. Let's get into it. Hit the like button for me if you haven't done so. Shout out to everybody watching in the chat today. Thank you guys. And Blues, I appreciate you guys helping to keep things peaceful in the chat. Okay. Thank you guys. Let's get into it.
Ever marry your second choice. He is not the man you still think about at 2 a.m. Don't marry him. Every girl has that one guy, the one who ruined her for everybody else. You never get over him. You just learn to live without him. He set the standard. Every kiss after him feels weaker. Every I love you sounds quieter. You also compare silently every single day, even on your wedding day. You settle for safe because Dangerous broke you once again, and you swore to yourself, never again. You'll say, I'm happy, while staring at the ceiling at night, wondering what he's doing right now. Your physical body will be in the bed next to your husband, but your soul will still be in that old car, that old motorcycle, the old apartment, the old version of you that felt alive. You'll teach your daughters to never settle while secretly knowing you did. One day you will see his name pop up or hear his favorite song, and your heart will skip a beat like you're 19 again, and you hate yourself for it. If he is not the man who still owns a piece of you, don't put his ring on your finger, because second choice love turns into first class regret. Marry the man that you cannot live without, not the one that you can live with.
All right. I'll give you the first word.
So I thought that was it was very interesting that Kevin Samuels said that smart women settle, and this woman is saying the exact opposite. And I actually think it's bad advice. And part of the reason it's bad advice is this idea of the man you cannot live without. The problem isn't that you can't live without him. The problem is that he very well can live without you. And most of the time, the reason you're not with him is because he's comfortable living without you. So you, in effect, if you're listening to this woman, in effect, she has you chasing a ghost. Somebody, who possibly can be played with and toyed with. But other than that, there's probably no future with him. Now, that brings in a difficult issue. And this goes, to what I always talk about when I say, women should be very careful in having sort of unsupervised, free access to men. And, I'm not a proponent of that. And this is the reason why. Because, again, women are not in their lifetime going to like a great many men. And out of the few that you like, it would be great if you could like the person and want to be with the person who also wants to be with you. And that is a process that needs vetting. And women are not very good at doing that type of vetting of men because we don't understand men in that way. It's a lot better when other people, parents, your father, someone else vets a man's intention and seriousness so that you don't waste your time chasing these ghosts who are never really interested in you in a serious way. And you're so seriously interested in them, they pretty much ruin you for anybody else who comes along, according to this woman. It sounds like a disastrous plan.
Whoever wants to jump in, one of the fellas, Rolando, you want to get in there?
Well, I mean, look, I kind of understand what she's talking about, because I've had a few women, circle the block, crying about me and want me back. I get it. She hurting. She's reminiscing on that old love, that past love, that kind of stuff. So, yeah, I get it. I drive them a little stir crazy myself, But anyway, stop giving me that look. Celeste is just giving me that look like I know it's coming. I
said, please, him, don't hurt him.
No, but I actually, do understand where she's coming from. I mean, I don't really have anything to say, like an opinion wise on it, but I definitely understand where she's coming from, and that's kind of where I want to leave it.
Got you. All right. Josh, you want to get in there?
It was a little confusing in some of the stuff she was saying, but I really don't have too much to say on this one. Nothing that's going to be, I like how she brought up Bishop Kevin Samuels. Me and my boys, we call him Bishop Kevin Samuels. Because that's a whole nother subject. I don't know. I'm just doing a lot of listening on this one. I just want to hear what the ladies have to say about this. Be honest.
Got you. We'll get the ladies in there then. Dion?
Actually, right at the end, what did she say? Did she say settle, or did she say stay with the one that was the thrill?
Don't settle. Yeah,
don't settle. Okay. What can I say on that? I don't even know. I'm there with Josh. I'm like, because my viewpoint about things like that and about love, all that comparing and everything that you do, I mean, to me, it's just pointless. It's like, what did God say? Regardless of all that stuff, all the worldly decision making and all that, it's just not my thing. So I'm always gonna turn thumbs down on it. It just doesn't make sense. That's not the who gave me the most extreme thrills. I mean, that's not something that I think you should make priority when you're deciding on who you're going to marry and that kind of thing. It's just because it can be so, superficial. I'll put it like that. It's pointless. And so I'm going to look at it from a whole different aspect myself, from a spiritual aspect. Like I said, what is God saying about it? So yeah, I didn't put too much stock in what she said.
Can I add something? She said something that she said, come from the spiritual side from it and whatever God's telling you. Because when you listen to a lot of these people and their criteria on what works for them and what they think, it's like that really won't work for other people. Like if you feel like the relationship is dry and you think the man is how much of that do you hear from people saying, why don't you check yourself first before you say that it's somebody else that's making the relationship?
That part.
You know what I'm saying? So I hear a lot of people saying, if you're not happy, it's the other person, instead of saying, why don't you talk to God about what it is that you need and make the adjustments from there? So I think when she was talking, I kind of drowned her out because she sounds like everybody that I hear on social media that has some type of point of view about relationships. And if you don't say anything about checking yourself first and then talking to your creator, I'm already down, to be honest with you. That was it.
Get in there, Crystal.
So this is what I was discussing just a few minutes ago. Dion knows I was just discussing it. See, the reason why the woman is speaking the way that she's speaking, she's talking about comparing and soul ties, is because someone broke her back out. Let's just be real. That's what they did. That's what they did. And so that is why she can't get that out her mind, because somebody sweated her hair out the whole 9 yards. And when you gotta now be laying with somebody who ain't doing that, now you start comparing and contrasting. Hence why we shouldn't be dipping and dabbling, because when you dip and dabble, then, like she said, that kiss, and no one else will kiss the way that he kissed, because he got a different type of kiss. He has a different way of doing things, and you will remember that. I asked everybody in my live earlier. I said to them, tell me the ex that you had that you were intimate with. Tell me how long it took you to get over that ex. And there were people in the comments said, I ain't even gonna lie, I still ain't get over it, because that physical, that soul tie, what you felt, what that person did with you, that's not easy to remove from your mind. It takes a lot to remove that. So that is why it's easy for you to come in and say, well, I married the safe guy, I married this guy, and I'm with him, but I'm still thinking about that one. Well, yeah, because you should have never touched him. If you weren't in bed with that man, you would have never known what you were or were not missing. And that is why we are not supposed to be playing in that field.
That's the only way somebody can be tied up with somebody. That's the only way somebody can be wrapped up mentally is if you have a soul tie. You don't think a man or a woman another way other than having sex? I'm just
there are some. Listen, if a man treats a woman right, yes, but 99% of the time, when a woman is so hung up on a man, let me drop the percentage just because I don't want to say everybody. So I'll say a good 85% of women, and I'm watching the comments right now as I say it. There again, it's because somebody did some work and she remembers that. Because that's what I was explaining to them. We were talking about cuffing season, and I'm gonna say this real quick. We were talking about cuffing season and how women will hook up with men because they feel lonely. Men and women, they hook up with people because they're lonely. And while they're lonely, women will swear up and down, I'm not going to catch feelings. But then they catch those feelings because whatever this man is doing, a woman, again, her emotions is tied into it. So now when she's sleeping with this man, as much as she says, I'm not going to catch feelings, she catches all the feelings. And then when February, March come around and it gets warm, all of a sudden, when he stopped texting, she's losing her mind because what happened? I thought we had a connection. And he was like, listen, this was supposed to be fun. And she's like, I know it's supposed to be fun, but I thought we would grow. And I thought I could change you. These are all the things that happens. So this is why I'm saying, yes, a man could do something. There could be a wonderful man that is a gentleman and they've never slept together, but that percentage is a lot lower than a man that you have been sleeping with, that you have soul ties and you got to figure out how to let that go. That's a whole different
well, fellas, just a little advice from what I get from this conversation is if a woman give you a chance, blow her back out and don't answer the phone every other day. You know what I mean? And bro, I'm telling you, they'll be doing circles around your house in a little Honda, little Honda Accord or Nissan Maxima, because that's a 2 cars. They love them cars. Let me tell you, they'll be doing circles around your house. Why won't he call me? Why won't he text me?
Hey, Rolando is being funny, but he is actually making a valid point. This lady just gave a brief soliloquy on how she can't get over the best situation that she's ever had in her life.
Yeah, that's all
you want to get in there.
But I agree with you.
Celeste?
I just want to say I agree with you, but that's why I said to them, that's where duffel bag came from. I was very honest. Yeah. That's where duffel bag situation came through. So I can't even. I'm not even. But then you draw a line and you throw duffel bag out the house. I'm just not listen.
Duffel bag season, baby.
Oh Lord,
it is what it is, But I've done it all the time, man. That's how. That's
needed how you a place to stay
because they think in their mind. They think automatically because you slept with them and that kind of stuff and you blew their back out that there's some kind of love connection there and you're like their spirit animal or something like that. You know what I mean? When to us it really don't mean nothing unless you have some kind of emotional attachment. I'm just saying if we have some kind of emotional attachment, cool. But if we don't and we just hooking up, she'll get feelings before I get feelings, and then she'll wonder why I'm not reciprocating that.
No, I was gonna say don't say that. And the reason why I say don't say that is because just like a man could blow her back out, a woman can make a man's curls.
Oh yeah.
Let's just be real.
Listen,
she can do that. So this is why you leave those things alone.
Crystal, I agree with you. You ain't even gotta argue that point. I've seen men abandon whole religions. Okay. All of a sudden, they was following Jesus Christ. Now they following prophet whoever around, and it's usually behind some woman. All right. I've seen them abandon
it goes both
families.
Ways. It definitely goes both ways.
I think this ain't a one-way street.
I think it goes both ways, but it's more prevalent in women.
It is.
Yes.
So, like for instance, I think when it's almost like for every. I really think when it comes to the lady in the video, she's opening herself. And actually, before we even, I saw the comment in the chat. Somebody mentioned, I think it was Faith in You. They mentioned soul ties. And this lady is volunteering herself and other women to create more soul ties. Those soul ties do exist in men for sure. I'm not denying that. But it is severely more strong and prevalent with women, especially, and we're continuing to be transparent, especially if it's good. I genuinely think if it's good, that rearranges a woman's brain chemistry to where she starts acting in certain ways that she wouldn't have had she not met that man. So
See,
I think, you know, what I also think too is, I think one thing, and this lady is an example of it, because she was on both sides of the playing field. Like I was like everybody said, I was confused on which side of the playing field you were on. One thing I've thought about when I'm listening to all of these different conversations is one thing that is prevalent with a lot of women is they are great at teaching other women how to be single, under the guise of it being relationship goals or relationship advice. That's all I got for now.
Yeah. Celeste, it looked like you had a rebuttal.
Yeah, so I want to say something to Josh's point. I don't necessarily think that it's sexual. And I agree with Crystal that, let's say, even often it is. But I don't think that's a given or a guarantee. You know, I can actually think the first person I ever liked, I liked at 12 years old. And that was in no way that there wasn't even a handhold at that point. But I liked him, and I liked him well for a long time. And I didn't even see him. You know, he left the school, and then I don't think I saw him again for like 7 or 8 years later. And so I was like, okay. So I don't think that we should automatically make the assumption that because you have that deep feeling for someone, it's necessarily sexual. But there is biology involved with the sex act, which is specifically for women. When women are touched, and it doesn't even have to be a sexual touch. It doesn't have to be, you know, I don't know how far we can talk, you know, on the street.
Let's not go too far.
Yes,
okay?
Yeah, it doesn't.
Let's keep it PG.
Yeah,
PG
it doesn't have
13
to
at
be the
max.
whole kit and caboodle. Let's say that. But what actually happens is that there is a chemical in women that's released, and it's called oxytocin, and it's very much it's a high that happens to women. They're actually become more animated and more alive, and it makes women have feelings of falling in love. That's what the falling in love feeling. It's actually a chemical reaction, which is another reason, I'll go back to point one, which is why women should not be having unfettered access to men. Now, men actually also experience oxytocin, but here's the interesting thing about men. It floods a man's body during the act, but quickly leaves his body when the act is done. The difference for women is the chemical does not leave our body when the act is finished.
Anybody want to add to that, or?
What I was going to say, and you know, there's so much truth to what Celeste said, of course.
You're right.
Yeah. One thing I wanted to say is this: that Soul Ties it's created to be a positive thing for people, and this is coming from, you know, a Christian perspective, but for people who are in a marital covenant, you know, so that soul tie, it's supposed to be there because that's what binds the marriage together. So I want to say that, you know, off top, that it's not automatically a negative thing to have a soul tie, but it's who you're soul tied to. And so, you know, and the reason you have to be careful, like Celeste said, you know, women shouldn't be, you know, going around bouncing from bed to bed. It's more than just a physical act. It's deeply spiritual as well. And there's you know, there's so much spiritually that's going on when two people have that type of union, and then that you just have to be careful of. I mean, I've heard it said that, people, a woman gets with a man who, for instance, might be, I'm trying to stay PG, who might have different interests. He might not be just straight, if you know what I mean. And then suddenly she's struggling with these issues of liking other women when she never did before. And that's because there's a spiritual connection that takes place. I mean, it pays, it's beneficial to a woman to not be out there basically fornicating around like that. It's a dangerous thing. And it can cause a lot of confusion, emotional, psychological, spiritual, all that. And like y'all were saying, and like even Rolando said, I mean, it's not a one-way street. It can go both ways. But I guess with women, I've heard it said that, because women, the way our physical makeup is, things more internalized with us, we're considered to be almost like a, what can I compare to? Almost like incubator, because I mean, we're the ones that carry the babies and all of that. Whereas men, they can more categorize, compartmentalize, that's the word. They're better able at compartmentalizing it. And I never thought about that oxytocin point, that it kind of degrades quickly with a man after the act. I never thought of how that plays into it, but that makes a whole lot of sense. So I don't know, just some interesting points that I wanted to mention. And it's the whole reason why I had to just dip on out of the dating game a long time ago, because I'm just not playing around like that.
I agree.
What you laughing at, Spaces?
Couple super chats I want to read real quick. Shout out to the Sac West Coast. Okay. Shout out, says I'm here. Okay. Thank you for the $2 super chat. Shout out to Mark Galvin coming through with the $2 super chat. Y'all are awesome. All right.
No.
And shout out to LJ coming through with the $1 super sticker.
LJ.
Appreciate you. We're gonna keep it moving. I don't know if you guys had a chance to see this clip, but Odell Beckham Jr. had to sit down, and he basically said $100 million, that ain't no money, and it won't last a lifetime. I want to share these clips with you guys, and I want to get your take.
$1 in my account right here today as we speak, I'm gonna be straight for the rest of my life. No question, right? I don't think everybody is in that. And when you've sacrificed your whole life to get here, and you're like, yeah, I played 10 years in the league. And I always explain this to people, I'm like, bro, you give somebody a 5-year, $100 million contract, right? What is it really? It's 5 years for 60. You're getting taxed. Do the math. That's 12 a year, that you have to spend, use, save, invest, flaunt, like whatever, however, just being real. I'm gonna buy a car, I'm gonna give my mama a house, I'm gonna do, everything costs money. So if you spending $4 million a year, that's really $40 million over 5 years, 8 a year, And now you start breaking down the numbers, it's like, that's a 5-year span of where you're getting $8 million. Can you make that last forever? And you always hear the people who ain't us and ain't been in the position, like, oh, well, that would last a lifetime.
And that can't last you a lifetime. You got a problem. Do you really need 10 houses? Do you really need 15 cars?
No.
Do you need to buy everybody in your house, everybody in your family, a mansion that costs $1 million, $2 million?
Mm-mm.
Because here's the thing.
Yes.
First of all, if you buy somebody in your house, your family a house, a house that costs $1 million to $2 million,
yeah.
First of all, they can't afford the upkeep on it. Because if they could, they'd have it already. See, it ain't the payment; it's the upkeep.
Right.
When ish go wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Bro say he's spending $4 million a year. If you spending $4 million a year and it ain't a business related, you out your damn mind.
Seriously.
Ain't no way in hell I'm spending $4 million a year. Okay, you buy mom a house. Mm-hmm. If I were to buy mom a house, I'm damn near gonna probably get her a house that I can go ahead and pay off. So I'm gonna spend $500,000 for mom because I got to get her something that she can clean for herself. Because I can't pay for a cleaner service because see, that's another expense. Ocho. You get a big house, somebody cut the grass. I don't need. I need somebody to come with a pushing lawnmower and cut the grass.
Oh man, dude said that he's spending $4 million a year, which is just extremely reckless and irresponsible. That's just outrageous. $4 million a year. That's crazy.
That's outlandish.
I mean, do you guys know what that is on the month? I mean, $1 million a year is $83,000. $83,333 a month. This dude is spending 4 times that. So what is that? Close to $400,000 a month? That's insane. A $400,000 nut to hit on a month-to-month basis. Crazy.
He's right. Whoever that dude is, he's right. He says it's not gonna last him a lifetime. Yeah, it's not. At the rate he's going, it's not.
No,
but it
spending $4 million
depends
a
on
year.
what you do with it. Right. Anybody else? That answer can be totally different because it depends on what you do with it. You got to be a wise steward. You can't just be in spin mode. Who was that guy now?
That's Odell Beckham and Shannon Sharp that was speaking. Odell Beckham.
Yeah,
was the first
Shannon Sharp. I know. Okay, is he's a baller? He's a basketball player.
Football player.
Football.
Yeah, he plays football. Yeah, he's a football player.
Wise, let me have the privilege to get in on this first.
Go for it. Because I'm gonna give you the spotlight.
I'm a sports guy. I'm a sports maniac. Number one, why does dude look burnt? I have no idea. All right. Everybody who watches football know Odell Beckham was like Space's complexion. Okay. This dude looked like they done left him out in the sun a little too long. That's number one. Maybe it fried his brain or something. I don't know what's going on with him. But let me tell you something.
So far from me.
You get 60 million, all right?
That's after taxes. Done. Yeah, after taxes. Taxes, agent fees, you got 60 million.
Okay. What Shannon Sharp said was dead on accurate. Okay. You don't go buy your mother $1 million house or a $2 million house. Because you're going to be paying the property taxes on that house. You're going to be paying all the upkeep on that house. You're going to be paying the homeowner's insurance, everything. And on top of that, you got to give us some walking around money. All right? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to buy a nice house on a nice piece of property and my mom moving in on the property. We're going to build her a mother-in-law suite right there on the property. Okay? With our own little driveway. You can come and go as you please, and I can watch you from a distance. All right? That's how we playing that one. All right? I ain't giving out $1 million houses. We ain't doing that. All right? Number two is, in case this moron, that's what I'm going to call him. I'm going to call him a moron, doesn't know. This is simple economics, okay? If you took $5 million of that money and you put it into a high interest bank account, let's say at 4 or 5%, you could get one from Wealthfront, or you could get one through Capital One. You could get one several places. You can get one.
Ladies and gentlemen, he is not a financial advisor. I'm just letting you know, he's not a financial advisor.
But I'm just saying, this is ABC economics. I'm just saying, even the simplest guy on the street can understand this. Okay, let's just say I have $5 million. That's what I would do. Is I would put into a high interest bank account. That $5 million will pull me in $20,000 a month in interest alone every month. This guy has 60 million. If you put all 60 in a bank account like that, earning about 5%, you're literally pulling in $240,000 a month. You can't live on that?
Man, crazy if you can't.
You can't live on that, bro. And then you want to sit up there on some sports show, bro, and play like you the victim? The victim of what? Who victimized you, dude? Please tell us. All right? Because for the longest, you was catching passes, had a blonde streak in your hair, looking like El Pollo Loco. You know what I'm saying? And you was doing your thing. You was partying in clubs. You was touching on Justin Bieber.
I knew he was going to do it. I knew it.
Okay.
I knew you were going to do it. You were going so good, Rolando. You had everybody cheering for you.
That's why I threw up that allegedly, Wise. I see you giving me that look.
Okay, allegedly. We're going to cut you off. Celeste, get in there. Get in there. He's going too far.
He was doing so good. Everyone was cheering for him, and then he had to go left.
Even what I say allegedly. I said allegedly.
Oh, stop. You were cheering for
Look,
you. You
look,
messed it up.
MSNBC do that all the time. They be like, yeah, Trump, 36, allegedly. I do it all of a sudden. I can't get away with it.
No.
No. So, you see how they villainize me, Wise? You got to start
Yeah.
backing me up on this
Hey, I
stuff.
gotta let you know. Hey, his thoughts are not the explicit views of the channel. Okay, I'll just let you guys
No,
know.
they are not. No, they are not. You see how I back you up, Wise? You need to back me up.
Nah, he don't want
You
to.
see
He
how I
don't want
back you up real quick?
Don't try to back him up. Let Wise be.
Celeste, what are your thoughts?
So I'm gonna go a little bit differently with this, because I think, first of all, I want to talk about, I'm happy that he exposed, or right up front, how dastardly the tax system is. If you make $100 million before you can buy a stick of gum, they've cut you down to 60.
Yeah.
Which, if you
$40
spread
million. And
Yeah.
I mean, people don't even think about it like that. $40 million gone.
So we really desperately need some reforms, and the higher your income is, the more, in fact, you're paying. So you remember when there was a conversation between Cardi B and Joe Biden, and she said she's tired of paying 50%. So he was in the 50% bracket. Cardi B was like, if I make $1 million on a concert, I only get 500,000. And once I get that 500,000, she's got to pay everybody for the
Got to
show.
pay everybody out of that.
She's got to pay the venue. She's got to pay the dancers. She's got to pay security. She's got to pay hotel, travel, all of that. She may walk away with 200,000 out of that, and she might be lucky to walk away with that 200,000. Not to mention the insurance. You've got to insure all these people on your show, including yourself. So this money is not what people think it is. There are expenses that we are often not aware of. When people say it's not as easy, and I don't mean it's difficult, they're certainly not struggling. They're not at the store wondering if they could get beef or chicken. No, that's not their struggle. But we do need to understand that the way we have crafted our tax system and all of the regulations and requirements that go along with what it takes to actually make money it is not as easy as people think. It's not like you're just going to get money and then that no one's owed anything. Believe me, by the time you get that money, a lot of people are owed something. You have an agent, you have a publicist. You may not want to buy a $3 million home, but it may not be safe to live in a neighborhood that isn't where that isn't the price tag. So you've got a lot of things that you have to consider. You can't be sitting around with, making $12 million a year, necessarily living in a neighborhood where the average home price is $400,000. That's probably not good.
I actually disagree with that. I don't think that maybe an Odell Beckham, because he's famous, but a person that's not famous that makes that kind of money could definitely live low key.
If nobody knew you had it, then that probably that maybe could work. But if anybody ever finds out, people say, where do you work and what do you do, or what's your last name? Maybe you even inherited it. It's not even, what's your last name? Or if there's any traceable way, you kind of get isolated out of situations where you can just sort of anonymously go and live a low-key life. It's not as easy as you think. I mean, there are, like I said, what are you going to send your kid to that school? Probably not. You probably want your kid to, people are going to say, how's your kid afford to go away and to a school that's that far away? And you know what I mean? It's not going to be as easy to just say, I'm going to come in, blend in, kind of live this low-key lifestyle. It's much easier to do, like you said, if you're not famous and there isn't a way for people to figure out that you have. But once they do, it's going to be very difficult to be among them. It just is.
I understand where you're coming from, but that still doesn't mean you need to spend $4 million a year.
No,
Um,
I'm not saying he needs to spend $4 million a year, and I'm not even sure any of that $4 million is necessarily going in the way we think it's going, where he's, fool-la-lying the $4 million up. I'm saying I'd be very interested to see what his expenses are. I wrote about this in my book. I said all the time, it does not matter what you make. It matters how you spend. Because
absolutely.
even if you're making 4, but you're spending 6, now you're in the poorhouse. So what's important is, what are your expenses? What can you cut out? And mostly what you can cut out is the things personally for you, because you probably have to have the agent. You probably have to have the lawyer. You probably have to have the accountant. You probably have to, I have a relative who told me he spends $150,000 a year just on his accountant. He has to have.
Yeah, but that's a business expense though. You know what I'm saying? And a tax, you're gonna get a tax break
So
off.
are his expenses. His business is being a football player. He is now a business. He's an entity. And there are a lot of expenses that come around securing that entity. Where he could probably save is, he can get a cheaper house. Like Rolando said, he can build his mom an in-law apartment on the back of a property in a neighborhood where she's safe, and he can feel comfortable about that. And whatever maintenance has to happen can happen on the whole property, so it's not a separate bill. But where you will actually short yourself is probably on the things for you, because those other expenses have to be paid so that you can go back the next year and get $4 million.
Yeah. Anybody else want to get in there?
No,
I was gonna
one
say
of the
that
things that
Hold up, Spaces, get in
no,
there, bro.
no, go ahead.
one of the things that I think about, and I actually meant to send this to our email group. There's I know you guys don't like to listen to rap, but there is a rapper by the name of J. Cole. He's in my list of top 5 favorites, and he has a song called Brackets. J. Cole, Brackets. I encourage. I mean, if your ears are sensitive, you can look up the censored version, even though he doesn't curse a lot. But he talks about this. He has a little skit where he does a voiceover, and he made $1 million, and Uncle Sam came and took half. So I don't really, and I also think about the fact that in football in particular, I think it was football in particular, maybe it was sports in general, but what I want to say was in football, within 5 years, people that were in the league go broke in 5 years. And one of the things I also think about is just unfortunately the lack of education, because if you hear these people talk, you can tell that they don't come from a base where they teach. They don't teach making your money last long. They don't teach investing in the stock market. And I don't know. Quick story. I'll say this and then I'll be done. I don't know if you know Mr. Wise or anybody on the panel about the futures trading market, but essentially it is you can. It's hit or miss. It's hit or miss. I don't want to go on a diatribe about it. But in one trade, I put in $200. I 30x'd my investment in 1 hour. Not even joking. I'm not joking. I'm not lying. 30x in 1 hour, and then over the course of the next 2 or 3 days, made another 5,000. So I'm saying it to connect it to the fact that these people are making millions. These people make it 200 million, 300 million, $40 million, and then they go broke after 5 years.
Yeah,
just to hear this.
But you got to understand what's happening. They're making all of this money in this, 5 to 10 to 15 year time span, and they're living to the max almost of that money that they're making, and then all of a sudden the spigot cuts off. And then there's no more money coming in, but they continue to live that $4 million, $5 million a year lifestyle. And now, if you do the math on that, 60 million, you divide that by 4, you do the math on that. You're broke. in what 15 years or so. If you
Yeah,
if you
15.
maintain that 4, it might be give or take a little bit.
And yeah, and that's the unfortunate thing I hear about, these major people in music and sports and entertainment. They think that because they make so much money, they have to live according to the amount of money that they make.
Mm-hmm.
And I was actually looking at, while you guys were talking, I looked up a house that I used to live in, that if somebody dropped the $5 million on me, I would go and buy that house, because that house is a 4-bedroom, 3.5 bath. I don't know what it was when I lived in it, but now it's worth $650. I saw the car, but now it's worth $650, right? So another super duper quick story, and I'll pass the mic. So I read the story of it was a lady who was married. The husband cheated on the lady with a TikTok influencer. The TikTok influencer had to pay the wife that was cheated on like $1.75 million or something like that.
Yes, I heard
So
about that.
on my podcast, we were having a conversation like, what would you do with that $2 million or whatever it was? And my homie was saying, I would, pay off my debts and all that stuff, but I would invest in the stock market, invest in different stocks that pay a dividend, because at that point the dividends are paying my bills. But these people that are in the mass media and entertainment, they don't have that education. And it's crazy to me, because we're on this level looking at these people on that level, and it just seems like it just seems crazy. It seems crazy.
I think there are a few people that do, but that's not an excuse, man. Everybody has one of these, and the amount of information that is right here at the palm of your, at the palm of your hand, like, that's not an excuse. But Crystal, get in there.
I was going to say, when I was living in Florida, I used to hang out with some of these football players by the work I used to do. And one of the things that they talked about, I remember this one man, he was like, I won't say he's an agent, but he was like, I wanted to do what he did, which was to teach football players how to live better with the money that they receive. And I knew, like, some of these athletes I went to school with when I lived in Florida. And so they went on, and I can look at their net worth. I'm not going to say who they are, but their net worth is still up there because they followed what he told them to do. It reminds me of Shaquille O'Neal. Shaquille O'Neal, again, we talk about like other players who were spending money, going broke. And Shaquille O'Neal said, I remember him telling the story, he was spending money like crazy. And someone told him, that is not what you do with your money. And they taught him what to do. And then now he has all these businesses and everything under his belt. So the thing is, when you have this money, if you don't look at it like, A, it's never going to run out. B, something I heard Odell say, and y'all know I love me some Odell because I am a Giants girl. Don't judge me. When he was on the Giants. So that's why I know who he is. Odell, he said something about he has to have the look. So he still has to look a certain way. No, you don't have to look a certain way. To me, I always think that rich people don't look rich, and poor people dress like they're like they have the money. They're wearing all the name brands. They're wearing the Balenciagas, the Gucci's, all the things. They're wearing everything name brand, and you will see someone. Let's give an example. Zuckerberg wearing like a black t-shirt and jeans and calling it a day, but he's not spending that money like other people are. So again, it's a shift of the mindset. It is using wisdom, stewarding your money correctly. I remember, what is that man down here? Oh my goodness. Killer Mike. I have to take a second. Killer Mike said when he got his money, he was about to go buying cars, doing the whole 9 yards. And his wife was like, no. Let's buy some apartments. Let's invest. And he said, because he listened, now that money didn't run out. They have money now. They have wealth because she showed him generational wealth. I think what Odell needs is someone to teach him, like my brother Spaces was saying, teach him about generational wealth, teach him about legacy building, teach him it's not about the outside, it's not about trying to look a certain part. Yes, you are a football player, but you don't have to go out there and be wearing all the fancy this and that, buying the hottest sports cars and this and that. Get, again, like my people said over here, I agree. My mama gonna live in the house with me. Listen, we gonna have a little compound. Here's your little house over here. We gonna do this because, again, it's about building legacy. It is about a lifetime. It's not about spending that money now, because then, what was that man here? Wise, the basketball player, 76ers.
Oh, Allen Iverson?
Yes. Didn't he go through stuff going broke?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, he's a cautionary tale.
Yeah.
Yeah,
And that was, again, that's what I'm saying.
Allen Iverson had a clause in his Adidas contract where he reached the age
Not
of
Adidas,
50,
Reebok.
Reebok, there it is. Where basically he had, what was it, Wise, 30 million?
I
30,
think it was
40
closer.
million,
I
something
think it was
like
maybe
that.
like 50 million he had, put up
Yeah,
for
so
X amount of
yeah,
years, so forth and so on. So, but he
exactly.
was
So when
spending an
everybody
exorbitant amount of money.
Yeah, he was.
exactly, and when people thought he was broke, basically that clause came out of his contract, and he's good now. And now
Well,
that
no, he's good now,
older
but I'm
in
just saying.
age, he understands, money management. But I don't
But
feel
that's what I'm
bad for
saying.
Odell.
Somebody has to teach them.
Odell, this is Odell's problem. He put everything on Instagram. All right.
Well, that's what I'm saying. He needs
If
someone
you
to
ever
teach him.
seen this guy on Instagram, he is popping bottles. He's in Miami. He's in Paris. Remember he had the little controversy wise. You're a sports guy in Paris with the model. Remember the white
Yeah,
residue
yeah.
with the pizza box? Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
remember that? Listen, this is who he is.
Rolando like to bring up people's, past and
Yeah,
dirty
yeah,
laundry.
because
Golly, bro.
I keep in mind everybody's little dirty little deeds, because then they come out like this and they jump on TV and they want somebody to have sympathy for them. I ain't got no sympathy for them. Okay, you've had more money than guys who grind a whole lifetime will ever see. Okay, and what did you do with it? I don't want to hear this. Hey man, I wasn't responsible. I didn't know this, that. No, bro, you went out, you bought cars, you chased women, you got private jets, you did all that. You lived the life you wanted to live. So now just deal with the consequences, because you wasn't
Still not too
looking
late
for
though.
it.
That's what I'm saying.
He wasn't looking for enlightenment, Wise. He was chasing tail like most other athletes out here. Why do you think these guys, go through all these years, whether it's AAU ball, whether it's Pee Wee football and all this stuff? It's because they want the car, they want the hot girlfriend, they want the clout, they want the fame. Okay, that's what these guys are working for. Providing for the family to them. Most of these guys is a byproduct. That's what they really want. They telling you what they want. All right. So you got what you want. I don't want to hear you cry about it. Because me as a man, I get up every day. I'm working 14-hour days, trying to build something successful, one brick at a time, and you've already got to where most men are trying to get. And when men see this, and don't get me wrong, if it's like you got bankrupt because your family, kept asking you for money and things like that, you were being nice, I feel you, But when you go out to nightclubs and you spend it that way, bro, don't no man got no sympathy for you, bro. That's how I feel about him.
One thing I do want to say, and a little bit of maybe sympathy, as Rolando would say, a lot of these people and many people, and I agree that yes, you can use your phone to do things yourself, but there are certain things about money that you don't really find out unless you have money. So I went to a bank. I have a banker, and he gave me an offer. He said, hey, this is an opportunity that you could do this, with some money. And I was like, okay. And I said, well, what if I had this much? And I threw out a figure because I wanted to know, is this all you have to offer? Or is this, he said, no, this is all we have to offer you. And I said, well, what if I had this much? And he said, well, if you had this much, you would no longer talk to me. He said, then you'd have a private banker. And that's a whole different situation. I have a friend, a good friend of mine. I asked him about an accountant situation. And I said, well, what if, the money's looking like this? He told me, and this is a good friend of mine. He said, call me back when you make it first. So what I'm saying is financial education, real financial education is not that easy to come by.
Celeste, I agree, but still, it doesn't absolve him. Nobody has a payroll of $4 million a year. I don't care how, that's ridiculous. There's no covering for that.
But I think that's slightly judgmental because, again, you're not in this situation. And why I say that, meaning you're not in this situation. Again, Odell came in. How old is Odell? Can somebody tell me how old he is?
Listen, in the chat, look up how old Odell is. He's got to be in his 30s.
He's in his 30s.
It's the payroll of a Fortune
what I'm saying,
company.
He's in his 30s, right? So he's in his 30s. So everything that you said he was doing when during that time, all his scandals, this is when he was in his 20s. This is somebody who was probably broke, got money. Now he's like, oh my goodness. And everyone is telling him, well, this is how you're supposed to do. Like, that's why I said, you need, just like the person that spoke to Shaq and told Shaq, because Shaq was doing the exact same thing. There's a lot of athletes that they're doing the exact same thing. There are people, let's even go something as simple, 33. Thank you. He's 33 years old. So just imagine the mistakes that we made without money in our 20s into our 30s, the mistakes that we've made. Now, now he's on a bigger scale. So it's easy to say, well, I don't feel sorry for him because this, that, the other. But in reality, you have to realize this man is making mistakes on a big platform and he needs someone, a mentor, someone to come in here and say, just like what Celeste was saying.
No, listen, the NFL,
you need to have this amount of money to be able to talk to me. And this
brings in people to talk to these guys.
They do, yes.
About financial responsibility, about gold digging women, all types of topics, and they do it every year. Every football fan knows this. Wise knows this. He's a big football fan. Okay, so these guys claiming I don't know, that would fly 20 years ago before that wasn't the rule. But now in this day and age, when you're getting schooling before you even get a check,
not understanding.
Rolando, you're not understanding. Basic schooling.
Wait, hold on, Rolando. I didn't finish.
Hold up, Rolando.
You're not understanding what I'm saying.
Let her finish her point.
I'm saying that it's very different. People have an idea of what they will do before they actually have the money. Think about all those people that are lottery winners. They said they're going to do this, that, the other. A lot of them even were money savvy, but somehow or the other, they get this onslaught of money, and that onslaught of money caused them to get stupid. All of a sudden, the common sense went out the window because this is a lot of money. Half of them is like, I don't think I'll ever run out of this. They don't ever think about that. So all I'm saying to you, it's easy for us, as we all said, that is here, to look at them up there with that money and be saying, well, we don't feel sorry for them, but we're not in their shoes. We don't know what they're dealing with. We don't know what that money. I know somebody who makes buku money, and the things that he told me that he has to do so certain things won't, with taxes and the whole 9 yards, and how they audit this and so on and so forth. And I was like, what? All of this, and you got to spend this, and they take this much taxes for you. I had no clue. So that's what I'm saying. It's very easy when you're not making that kind of money.
That is true. Before you go, Ro, I want to say this right here. Before you go, you make $60 million. If you just take 10 of that and just put it in a simple ETF, S&P 500, based off the NASDAQ, something really simple, just 10 million, and you could blow the 50. You could live off of that 10 million for the rest of your life. As long as you don't,
I agree. But what I was saying
touch the principle
is it's an apples to oranges comparison when you compare a lotto winner to an athlete. Because like I was telling you, Wise, the NFL, because this was such a pandemic in the NFL, even into the NBA and most other sports leagues. Remember they had a documentary on ESPN called Broke?
Yeah, 30 for 30. Yeah.
30 for 30, broke. Well, basically, it was an epidemic of guys just going broke. So the NFL say, okay, we have to do something to kind of educate these guys. So they started bringing in ex-football players who went broke to speak to the athletes before they ever see a check. The difference between them and a lotto winner is you're just picking some random guy off the street.
So
And they don't get any education. They just get handed a check. Now, if
That's
that
not true.
person is smart enough to say, hey, I need to get me a lottery lawyer, I need to get this, I need to get a financial advisor because I don't know money, I accept that. But when these guys actually get a sit down and a talking to, okay, and you still go out there and you still lose your mind, you don't put anything away for a rainy day. Not even $1 million, 2 million, 5, 10, nothing. Okay. It's hard to have sympathy for you. It really
Yeah, in this
is.
day and age too, where are the parents at? Where's your father? Where's your mom to say, hey, stash a little bit? Now I know
And
a lot of family members do have hands out. They trying to get whatever they can get out of said individual, but still, where are the parents? Where is the advisor to say, hey man, pump the brakes on the spending?
Exactly.
and then even with these conversations, what I've learned and what I agree with is that whatever money you spend where you're at will be a reflection of whatever you spend and how you spend when you get rich.
Mm.
So if you're throwing money around when you make 40,000, when
That's
you
true.
make
Yeah.
40 million, it's going to be the same thing.
It's gonna be worse.
You know what I'm saying? So no, I can't give these people the benefit of the doubt because there's way too many examples of people that blow their money.
Yeah.
There's
Well,
way
in the
too many
NFL,
people.
with professional sports spaces, there are 40 years of examples. Celeste, get in there real quick.
So, and I don't want to seem like I'm certainly not disagreeing with Rolando. I'm not saying he needs to throw money around, and I definitely agree with Spaces in terms of if you have bad money habits when you're poor, you will absolutely have worse money habits when you're wealthy because you'll have more to have bad money habits with. But what I am saying is, even though the NFL gives lectures on you need a money manager, you should not realize that there are some women that are only looking for you for your money and they're trying to get you caught up. They can say those things, but what they cannot do is tell the person, how do you select a good money manager? The way people find money managers is from another rich friend.
Mhm.
Usually they go to their other rich friend, and I'm talking about not athletes, not people who came into money because they were 18 and they, have this amazing talent, and now all of a sudden somebody's throwing them money. But people who are actually earning their money, who building it slowly and accumulate it, meet someone who's also doing that and say, hey, who do you use for this? Or what do you do about that? Most people find that information out inside the circle of other people in their station in life. The same way you and I find a lot of information out for ourselves from people in our station in life. That
Thanks.
works. So I don't think it's as easy as they told you you need a money manager. Well, you could tell anybody that, but you don't know how to go out and get a good one. How do you know how much should your money make? How can you even tell if he's good? If the guy comes to you and says, on your 5 million, I can guarantee you 11% every year. Well, okay, I could get 11% every year now in the stock market without.
Exactly.
But when you walk in there with $1 million, there's a whole different conversation that's happening. You're not getting the $100,000 conversation. These conversations come.
Well, I always see this dude as a clown, and on the streets we say this. What does a clown do when he gets some money? He buys some makeup and become a bigger clown. You know what I mean? So
Well,
that's what
I
you're
just wanna
seeing
point out-
right there. He's always been a clown.
Before you go, Crystal,
Now
I want
he
to
got
get
a
Josh on
bunch
the
of
conversation,
money,
bro.
bought makeup,
That's what I was gonna say. I was
bought a
gonna say,
bunch of
can we
makeup,
point out
a
that
bigger
Josh
red
hasn't
nose,
spoken?
a bigger
Yeah.
puffy,
I'd like to give Josh the
hairdo,
floor.
and became a bigger clown. And that's
Appreciate you,
always how I'm
Rolando.
gonna see him.
We want to get Josh.
Get in there, Josh.
Hey, this is a new subject that came up that a lot of people were talking about that we didn't put in this conversation. He's spending so much money a month. We don't know if he has that addiction of the gambling addiction. Some of that money that he might be spending might be paying back his people that he owed for missing out on whatever.
Right. You're
The
right.
other, I mean, I really don't like counting other people's pockets. Like, I know broke people, I know rich people. I know there's a lot of money that goes out to paying for certain things, but then at the same time, it's like, bro, you don't have to do that. Like, you really don't. Is this a guy that can fly normal? Like, do y'all think he can fly on first
Yeah, he
class?
can definitely fly first class. Absolutely.
Yeah.
He gonna take
So,
some pictures and things of that nature, but he can fly first class, bro.
but then first class, and then you got the whole thing where it's like private jets. Like, you got your privacy, you have your whole. It's so much, but
Bro, private jet is expensive.
It's like $40,000 a trip.
No,
That's
it's
like
if you're going overseas, it's $10,000 to $20,000 per hour.
that's a lot.
That's a lot.
That's all. But that was the only thing. And then plus, I mean, he seems like everybody keeps saying all these services. You could tell somebody whatever you want to tell them. It's their choice to listen or not. So,
Mhm.
and he kind of tried to bring everybody else in at the end of the clip where he was just like, I mean, y'all, nobody knows what we go through. Like, y'all know how it is. Y'all rich. Like, and it's like, I think these cats might be a little bit smarter than
Yeah.
because I know some people that know them. So it's like what I hear about people behind the scenes is like, oh, okay, they're actually cool. Like this person is a person who I can walk up and talk to. Odell does not seem like a dude who I want to run into anywhere. From Saks Fifth Avenue to Walgreens, like I don't think I probably want to talk to him. It might be, but that was the only thing I was gonna say.
Gotcha.
Can I just point out to you, Wise? I love what y'all were saying, and I just want to point out, yes, they do give them those classes about, how to spend their money, how to watch out for the gold diggers. Yet clearly they don't listen, because how many of them have gotten in trouble with women anyway? So
Oh yeah.
you saying
yeah.
you saying that they teach them these things, that doesn't mean that they're actually going to do, or they comprehend, or they took in what you said, because most people will say that will never happen to me. That's what everybody says. They
It's
believe
true. It's
everybody
true,
else will happen to,
but
not
if
me.
I tell you, Crystal, there's somebody waiting up the street, you walking past my house, I say, Crystal, don't walk down to the corner. There's somebody down there waiting to ambush you. Okay, once I give you that information, you do what you want with it. So if you continue on to the end of the street, then that's on you. If you turn around and go back home, that's also on you. That's kind of how I see the NFL thing. They told him, hey, this is what's down the road. And he went on down the road and found out.
Yeah. I mean, you can say that for a lot of young people. I mean, when you think about young military folks that, are making decent amount of money, you talk about even these youngins in college with the NIL money. Youth is wasted on the young, unfortunately. And sometimes you get some opportunities in your early years, and you'll look back when you get in your 30s like, man, I can't believe I blew that kind of money. I cannot believe I was out at the club and the bar and I bought this car and that car and I was dealing with this girl and that girl. I can't believe people that I wouldn't necessarily associate with today, I was associating with back in the day, because I didn't know any better. I didn't know what I didn't know. And at the time, I thought I knew everything. And I would assume that these people here think that they know everything and they got it. And like Crystal said, the money's never going to run out. Hey, I'm making after taxes $12 million a year. That's a lot of bread. And, when folks get to living, gambling, strip clubs, baby mamas.
You went into exactly what I was just about to say. I can't give these dudes that credit, because they go and do the same things the people before them did. Like, it's not like they don't have a small group of people to base their current decisions off of. Like, if you make $1 million, you probably shouldn't get $1 million house. You can't count.
Yeah, facts.
This is basic math.
Facts.
But those numbers just look so big to them. I'm telling you, you see all those zeros. You may have been used to maybe 3 zeros, 4 zeros, 5 zeros. And then when those extra zeros, you're like, hold on. Now, again, your mind has to expand. Let's just be real. Your mind, your wisdom has to expand. And that's really what it comes down to, because I've seen people who they get a $10,000 check and they lose their mind. They're like, wow, this is the most money I've ever seen. So that's what I'm saying. If your mind has not grown, if you have not attained that wisdom, if you are not, listen, What do we say, wise? Our favorite book in the Bible? Proverbs.
Absolutely.
Again, people need to understand it.
I'm gonna tell you now. You're gonna love this saying. And you know what we call them down here? Dudes like that. All right, we call them popcorn pimps. Okay, because they just like a popcorn kernel. As soon as they get some money, they pop. You know what I mean? And
With
that's
that being
basically.
said, we're gonna keep it moving.
Come
All
on,
right.
Wise. You gotta start backing me up on this stuff, man. Why is supposed to be my hype man? Like, yeah, bro.
That's
go
my
ahead,
guy.
go
You
get
my
it.
guy, bro. I want to keep it moving. I want to keep it moving. I want to you know what? We're gonna go here. I don't know. I'm sure everybody's heard about this, but I'm gonna let this thing run out a little bit, man. Shout out to the Tip Network for the collage. Let's check this out, man. Corey Holcomb discusses Ash. What's his name? Akash Singh.
Akash Singh.
Yes, there you go. We're gonna get into it, man. Hit the like button if you haven't done so already, man. Hit the like.
Sing.
Akash Singh. You know what he does? He sits in the audience because he doesn't have any material. Like a lot of these internet influenced comedians don't have jokes. He sits in the audience and he talks about you and your relationship.
How do you know this lovely lady? Just friends.
Well, this guy's married. And he used to brag on how his wife was a virgin.
My wife also hadn't had any sexual partners, so that helped us connect a lot more.
Now, let me ask you this.
And
Do you believe her?
If you've seen her, then it's hard to believe. We already connected, and like she also isn't having sex.
The guy that I was kind of with right before him was also a virgin. I didn't know you were a virgin too. So I was a virgin too when I met him.
Akash has been with one girl in his life who is his wife.
That's my wife.
First of all, any man who tells you that his wife is a virgin, that is an autistic man.
Here we go.
Any man with the courage to tell you his wife is a virgin and he didn't grow up with her in the Garden of Eden, that is an autistic man. And this is something the people that know him have not told him. They laugh and smirk with him. What's the guys he does the shows with? What's the dude who was talking about Kendrick? Yeah.
Andrew Schultz.
Schultz.
Oh, really?
Andrew Schultz. All these guys know him. And I noticed they don't really shit on him like they should. They pity him.
Our goal is to make Akash's wife the biggest TikTok star.
She's so hot.
TikTok. Yeah. And she's beautiful. She's great. But my goal is to remove all the leverage he has in his relationship.
I mean, it would make me feel really good for her to surpass Akash in fame.
Ask yourself the question, why?
Because it's funny.
Yeah, we like to see our friends suffer.
Yeah.
Wow.
How are you guys doing?
Jesseline, I'm trying to build you up.
Let me tell you what this guy's wife does. She brags on getting ran through. All throughout college, etc., and told him she was a virgin.
Sometimes I get so painfully nostalgic for college. So for context, I went to college from 2011 to 2016. I was popping my and living my best life in these white boy frat houses who could not tell me nothing. And I had a roster of guys that I would rotate through. So it's like, sometimes it like literally hurts my heart. And when the nostalgia is that painful, guess what I have to.
So Honey wasn't a virgin. She says she's popping her pee in the white boy frat house. It's Honey, how charming. Obviously, someone had a hoe phase, right? She has a roster of guys. That she's rotating through. Now, what was she doing with them? We don't know the details exactly of what she was doing, but when somebody says they have a roster of guys that they're rotating through, can we all just take a guess at what that means? And she's nostalgic for those times. So
she probably told him like, yo, I'm a virgin. Yo, I don't do this, I don't do that. That's not even who she was with. Yeah, she was in the white frat parties getting her rearranged, getting her bent up like a pretzel. You feel me? Now, yo, her family gonna be like, you gotta get with a nice Indian boy, this and third. She gonna get with my mans, and she not gonna tell him the truth. Like, yo, man, I was getting ran through. Like, yo, it was lit. You know what she gonna tell him? Ain't nobody hit. Word two. That everybody know that. I'm telling you. Like,
she brags on this. She's never kissed him in public and stands on it, even at their wedding.
Wait, what?
Darlene, it's bad.
Oh, well.
It's bad. It's bad. But people will tell me I don't know what I'm talking about when it's suckers out there like this. I'm strong.
Then she's a good liar.
Why not?
I don't care about. I like tangible goods.
Since I am renewing my vows, I think the only thing you can do is propose again. Lean Sing, will you be this Lean Sing forever again?
Yes! Oh my god! How big is this?
Big enough for you to shut up every time I tell you.
Thank you so much.
Yo, it's a head stiff arm. Bang. Hold up. Bang. Yeah, that's crazy.
She don't give a lick about this guy. She's not attracted to him. She is not attracted to him. The power dynamic in this relationship is so screwed up, so obvious that she's running the show. It's so obvious that he wants her more than she wants him. All she cares about in the second video is the size of the diamond.
Oh my god! How big is this? Thank you so much. God, it looks so beautiful.
This marriage certificate, or whatever, I think, she brags on how she got smashed. She brags on what she wants to do. Pussy shit.
Wait, so she...
This is real life happening. You almost say this has got to be something. This has got to be fake.
Scripted,
Now
right.
this guy, what is his name again?
Akash Singh.
Akash Singh. This guy is not part of our demo, but his story is so needed to be said. I'm bringing it up.
So she fibbed that whole time and then hit him with the whammy? Like,
He married a bottom dweller and held her up to be a thing of purity.
I know that was tough to get through. That's hard, man. That's hard. I'm watching that, man. Oh my goodness. Josh, I want to give you the first word on this, brother. Wherever you want to go with it, what are your thoughts, man?
Hey, so I respect Corey Holcomb. I met him before, and he's pretty dope. He's pretty slick. And as a comedian, I didn't tell y'all this. I'm a comedian too, so that's why I let the light skinned dude get all the shine. Hey, I would.
See, Josh, why you be starting stuff, bro? Why don't you go ahead and make your point, dog? Stop picking fights. Stop picking fights over here. You don't want that smoke.
I don't. Wise, like that really was tough to listen to. I ain't gonna lie to you. Like that was super tough. And it's bad when people have receipts. Corey is gonna tell you how he feel. He don't hold no punches. And I actually like that. Like I love it. But if as a person, I don't even have to be a celebrity. If I knew my girl did not like me, she didn't want to be. You care about the ring, you care about what everything else. And I know that people are talking. Like I just got to end it. Like there's no way I can make it through this relationship and go through that. But he also is Indian or whatever his descent is. So I don't know what their divorce rules are. So he might actually be stuck. And there's two things with his boys on the podcast talking, even though they're all comedians, they're all talking about how they wish, whatever bad to happen to him, even though they're joking. But behind every joke, there is some seriousness. Like, so I low key will be watching him like, so my boys want to smash my wife. My wife told me she was a virgin. It's coming out that she's not a virgin. And I guess he was a virgin too, right?
Yeah, he's come out and said that he was.
So technically, he wouldn't know if she was or not, right?
Yeah.
So she just played that all the way up that she wanted to. This is so embarrassing. Like, have you ever watched something that has secondhand embarrassing like this? I feel embarrassed for it. Like that's how bad it is. Like, I don't know. The part where her trying to sound like she's excited about the ring, but she's not. It reminds me of a pastor that I know that's like really popular. and I'm not gonna say his name because I actually really know him, and if he found, and I know Wise is real popular, and people probably know that, so I don't want to say his name. I ain't like Ro. I ain't gonna be messy, but I see his wife, and she acts like that, like she's fake like that, and it's just like, bro, she's not with you for you. Like it's just, this is all bad.
Yeah,
like
it's very bad,
really bad, and for him to be in the public eye and to walk this out is even worse because everybody's trying to see your steps. You have a personal life that you're trying to fix, and then you have a public life that people are commenting on. And that when it marries like that, it gets really, really sticky because now you don't want to be on everybody's lips, but everybody's talking about you. So like, what do you do? Like, what would you do if you found out that your wife was not a virgin when she took, like, how would you handle this in this situation?
I'd have to get out of that situation. I mean, the thing is, it's not even just that. I wouldn't want to be with someone that would be willing to embarrass me like this for all to see. I mean, this isn't, we can't even say this is national TV. This is going viral like it's nobody's business. Everybody is talking about this. I couldn't be with someone that would embarrass me in that way. I just couldn't. I wouldn't do it. And we'd be divorced already. Seriously.
And so he can be out. He could be out at a gig and get heckled about this situation in real life.
Oh yeah, like it's nobody's business.
Yeah, like somebody, like if I was Ro, I would go to one of his shows and heckle the mess out of him because of this situation.
Especially when majority of his act is around relationships, kind of freestyling off of what's going on in the crowd, based on, those types of relationship conversations. Yeah, I could easily see somebody come into one of his shows and just giving him the business all night long. He might not even get a set.
With that type of comedy though, and Ro knows this, he's not really writing jokes. He just has a few things that he'll throw out, but he's not like the cats like us where we grow up ripping on each other on the bus or on the corner. Like he wouldn't be able to handle somebody like coming at him about his wife. Like that's a whole nother thing. So he might have to lay low after this. I don't buy you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now his comedian friends, you would expect that they're gonna give it to him. If he pulls back up to that show, after all of this that has come out, based off of what we've already seen, it's gonna be brutal. Get in there, bro.
Listen, with Oshkosh, man, this is kind of surprising. It kind of made me laugh because if you remember, Kevin Samuels said something about this in Indian Girls Coming to College, how they would come to college and they would literally get run through because they're in a whole nother country, So they would come here, they would lose their mind, all right? He said he went to Oklahoma. So he said he saw it, with his own two eyes, how women would come from overseas, literally bang every guy they could, and then go back like nothing happened, And that's basically what happened here. Now, this is the part of the story that really got me, okay? You think this girl a virgin? Bro, any man with a little bit of common knowledge knows that virgins, the first time they have sex, bleed. Okay.
That's true.
Well, let me follow that up. Let me follow that up with something. Now, back in the day, and this is in Italy and it's documented, okay, when a man would marry a woman there, okay, to prove her virginity, after the night of consummation, the guy would take the sheets, the bloody sheets, and would hang them out the window to prove to everybody in the town that his wife truly was a virgin. Okay? Now, all I'm saying is this, dude, if you believe that she was a virgin, dude, you the simp of all simps. Okay? A virgin out here is very rare. All right? I'm talking mega rare. This 2025, ain't a lot of virgins running around here. All right? So that's part one. Part two is for Corey Holcomb. I don't know where this dude got the hat, bro. You need to give your daughter back her hat.
That's right.
All right, because I don't know where you got that from, dude. That looks like it's straight off a Pokemon card or something. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know what's going on with Corey Holcomb, bro. He's losing his mind on his own. You know. But back to the comedian, man. This guy, and then the fact you don't notice, and this is to the comedian. She don't want to kiss you, bro.
Okay.
Not at all. Nothing. Bro, you getting kisses on the cheek, bro, like you her cousin or something. You know, it's the family reunion. Hey, cuz, how you doing? Bro, that's what you get. All right? And you just sitting up there just making a complete fool of yourself. And for men, whether it's Spaces or Wides or Joshua, bro, it is hard to watch this. If you have a friend, I'll give you an example of how hard this is on men. If you have a friend that's acting like this, we all end up disowning that friend, do we not? Guys are just
I'll try to give him some
with
counsel first.
You know,
I try to give him a little bit of counsel first. You know what I'm saying?
Guys that casually walk away. You know what I mean? Like they'll stop calling you. They won't invite you to stuff. You know what I mean? And slowly you'll fade away, bro. And before you know it, you have no friends left. All you got is hurt. You know? And I've seen that happen to men after men after men. So Oshkosh, man, I think his comedic career is over. You can never show your face in another nightclub because a dude like me, I'll show up there with a couple shots in my system, bro, and I will eat you alive. You know, don't let me get the liquor in me, bro. I get loose and I get real funny. You know what I mean? I'm talking like Red Fox.
I do want to say this, you know, and I want to kind of take it to the word for a quick second. You know, when you start talking about the honor of marriage and the responsibility of the wife and the husband. You know, the word says, husbands, love your wife. He is showing that he loves this lady. On the flip side of that, the women are supposed to respect their husbands. She is showing utter disrespect to this man at every chance she gets. You know what I'm saying?
Let me ask you, who's more guilty though? I mean, is it her for disrespecting him, or is it him for sticking around for the disrespect?
Oh, no. I definitely give it to him for sure. I'm gonna put the blame on the man because, hey, he's willing to deal with this. That old saying of, you know, if you make her a star, she'll make you a fan. That's pretty much what has happened here. You know what I'm saying? He's looked at this lady as a star, and she treats him like he's a fan. And in all actuality, he is. And honestly, you know, he looked at it like, hey, I got some money. And I can, you know, get, you know, this woman. And in grand effect, you know, there's some cultural things in there as well, because, you know, I would assume that he wanted a Indian woman. But, bro, what he did, that's ridiculous, man. And I would assume that there were some telltale signs early on that he ignored because he thought that this woman looked so good, and she's obviously out of his league from a look perspective. He's definitely there. Spaces, I'm going to give you an opportunity to get in here, and then Celeste, I'll give you the next.
This is so painful that this is a prime example as to what a woman does when she is destroying her man. And I've been following this story from multiple different channels, and they tried to do. I watched this today on his panel with Andrew. I don't know if you want to do that, Mr. Y, so I won't violate. But I watched them on his podcast. They tried to do like a cleanup and make it seem like this was just a ploy, to make it seem like this was just a plan to get her name out there, or this was just a ploy for them to get her get more attention on her name. And I'm of the strong volition that this is what happens when you give a, and I mean this with the majority. I don't mean this with all. I mean this with the majority. This is what happens when you give a woman a microphone. And I say this from the aspect of I've listened to, I pride myself on trying to go into conversations with an open mind, experience different people's conversations with an open mind. And the absolute majority of the time, when I listen to women's podcasts, it is sex and relationships. The absolute majority. This isn't all. This is the absolute majority. And unfortunately, people call him Akash because she is with him. She's literally said, I don't know if you guys seen this, but she literally said, I don't cook and clean because I don't feel like it. He doesn't have a job. Literally everything about her life is provided by him. And instead of him asserting his dominance as a man, I don't even want to say asserting his dominance. Instead of him,
you said the right words. You said the right words.
Okay, asserting his dominance as a man, he just sits there and tries to emotionally relate to her. And I saw this post where it said, how can you expect a man to match your energy when you also want a leader? He can't match your energy as a woman when you want your man to be a leader.
Mm-hmm.
The man is supposed to be the leader of the relationship, but Akash is, unfortunately, because I actually watch Andrew Schulz. I like Andrew Schulz. I like his comedy. I've watched his stand-ups. And I actually, funny that we're talking about this, I just went to see Corey Holcomb this past Friday. Corey Holcomb, he was out here in Chicago. He's hilarious. You might have to pray a little bit on your spirit before you go see him, but he's hilarious.
We saw him when he came to Baltimore not a few months back. Yeah.
So you know. So I'm saying this is the prime example. The only thing worse than this woman is Cardi B, in which she will be pregnant with your child while also having intercourse with another man. Mm. That's the only thing worse. Like everything you can imagine is raw that would be a red flag or a steer away from this woman's sign is in this man's wife. There's no reason, Akash, or any man in media or whatever, that you would be okay with your woman talking like this. Why would you allow your wife or woman that you're serious with to talk like this?
Mm-mm.
I don't even want to hear you try to talk about it. And Akash tried to make a comedy special about it to try to do the cleanup in the way that a lot of men do when he allows his woman to go and get a microphone and say whatever it is that she wants. The only reason why she's trying to do, or they're trying to do cleanup, is because this whole thing blew up. And now he looks stupid. And now if he cuts off that wallet, she's gone.
Yeah. Well, he looks stupid and she looks bad as well. She looks very bad in this. Crystal, I'll give you the next word.
I don't know none of these people. Let me just tell you that. Let me start off with that. I don't know none of the people. Okay?
I didn't know any of them either until this thing went viral.
I don't know none of them people. The only one I know is that Corey Holcomb guy, but everybody else, I don't know them. But I'll say this: not always, but a good portion of the time nowadays. Again, not all. When a woman is insistent that she's a virgin, she probably isn't. I'm just saying. Not all the time, because there are some virgins still, but a lot of people that make it their talking points. Because usually someone that is a virgin, she lets them know that she's a virgin and she's done. It's not her talking point. She's not saying over and over, by the way, I'm a virgin. She's not doing that. That's the first thing. Second thing is, in Indian culture, it's a little bit different. So she may not actually want to be with him, but her family, again, I have friends that are Indian, and they may have, like she said, she was enjoying the white boys at the frat house, but the parents was like, nope, you got to find you a good Indian boy, or we have selected a nice Indian young man for you, and we know his family, and this will be a good union for us. So she may not actually love him. She could care less, but at the end of the day, it's what they have to do within their culture. So we have to look at that in that aspect as well. Social media is the devil. Okay? Social media is the devil. because in social media, everybody wants to tell their business. As I said, Jada thought it was necessary to tell people that she was in an entanglement with a youngster to Will in front of everybody in the world. Because again, everybody feels like everybody is supposed to know everything. And no, everybody's not supposed to know everything. I feel bad for him because, again, we don't know what his idea of marriage is. And I'm saying that, again, with their culture, with their family, maybe he can't just up and leave her.
True.
Maybe, because, again, that culture is very different. So he can't just up and leave her. And she's out here saying the things that she's saying, but he has to lock in there with her because this is who the family picked. So he's stuck with her. So, and trying to assert your dominance, you would want to, but at the same time, half the time, honestly, I feel like people say things and it's not even so on social media. And I say that because I think about Aisha Tyler. Aisha
Curry.
Aisha Curry.
Curry. I think about her and all the things that she said. And I'm like, girl, stop talking. Stop talking. Stop talking. Why are you talking? But a lot of people, and it's like, is that really you? Or are you just saying that because it's going to get everybody speaking? Because one thing she said, Aisha said, was she was upset that no one was looking at her. No one was sliding up in her DMs. No one was thinking of her. So she had to curve her image so people could see her a certain way. This girl, did she get run through in college? Maybe, maybe not. Maybe she wants to fit in this culture so that, again, that, dare I say, that Kim Kardashian lifestyle. So now you just up your stock, quote unquote. So people, it may look bad to us because we're us, but in the world, like, her stock is up because, okay, so she's one of them hot girls. Let's see what she can do. Because again, you follow the Kim Kardashian, the Cardi B's, all of those. These people, when they are out here, think about the girl who decided she was going to do the world record of how many people she can, her stock up in the air. So when we're sitting here saying he looks bad, she looks bad, because that's us. We have morals, we have values. There's things that we're saying, that's not good. But in the world, the girl might go get a new fragrance line. She may get a whole show. She may get all them things. So I don't know if it's as bad as we think. Now, for
it's that bad, Crystal.
No, I'm saying
it's that bad. Think about this. How many people go viral and can't actually capitalize on it? She's not funny. She's not funny. She's only famous because she's told her business. That's not sustainable.
No,
it's not sustainable. And if you get on OF, maybe she runs a little bag for maybe a year or so. But for the most part, you know how this internet thing works. You are a thing today. You are not a thing in a week or two from now. You know what I'm saying? I don't think she can parlay this in. She's not talented enough to parlay this in to anything but this, unless she decides to jump on OF or something, and then that's a completely different situation.
But see, that's where I don't agree on that part, because again, Kim turned it into a whole, and what talent does Kim Kardashian have? Like,
she doesn't, but everybody can't emulate Kim Kardashian, and actually Kim. Yeah.
It's the point. It's the point that I made.
Rolando, hold on. I want to get my thought out because I will forget. I am 45, and it is after 10. Your girl will forget. What I'm saying is, there are women that are in this. Dare I say it? And I hate to say it. Wasn't Chris Bosh's wife one who was ran through the NBA? And she parlayed a whole entire life, allegedly, for herself. There's so many women in the industry, and that's why I say, outside of this world, our regular everyday world, it looks bad to us. Him as a comedian, it looks really bad for him. But there are a lot of women that have parlayed a whole lifestyle. I mean, my goodness, Portia from Real Housewives of Atlanta has parlayed a whole entire life.
I'll give you that. Can I ask you a question real quick? Where is the hot tour girl at now? Where is she at? She ain't making no money. That daggone podcast is done.
No, not from that. She's making like what you call, but she wasn't even pretty. There's a difference between the hot to a girl and this one. That's what I'm saying. Again, there has to be something in there. So Kim, she's a looker apparently. Portia is a looker. This girl, she's a beautiful Indian girl. So again, in our world, it doesn't seem normal, but in Hollywood, in the entertainment industry, she can parlay something. I don't know what it is, but she can parlay something because she doesn't need a talent. She's just a looker, and people like lookers.
Crystal,
Men like lookers.
That's the story with most women, though.
Look at that. Somebody said Hot Tour was hot.
Remember 3 weeks? Remember 2 to 3 weeks
You better
ago,
put some
I made
respect
this
on her
point.
name.
I made this point on this show where I told you, I said a woman's reputation will destroy a man.
Facts.
Okay, and I said that here, and that's what you're seeing right now, the beginning of the destruction of this man, because he's a comedian. He has to go to these nightclubs. It's bad enough when the audience doesn't have dirt on you and they still try to heckle you. So imagine when they got this. This man, he's done. He's done. He's not going to be able to show up at any Comedy Factory, Comedy Store, pick one of the places. He's not going to be able to show his face in there. Other
But what I'm
comedians going
saying
to
is
clown
that
him.
there are bad girls. There are bad girls that are.
Him. And if he divorces her, she's going to take a portion of what he's made.
Yeah.
So
What I'm
he is
saying,
cooked.
but what
He
I'm
is
saying is
done.
bad girls. But no, I'm saying that there are bad girls that win. That's all I'm saying. I don't support it. I don't agree with it. But what you have seen quite often in this world, because Chris Bosh, when he was playing, he didn't lose his status, knowing the things that we knew about her. He didn't lose his status. What do you call it? Michael Jordan.
Chris Bosh.
Yeah, well,
Chris Bosh has no career after basketball. You don't see Chris Bosh on ESPN. You don't see
You're
Chris
not
Bosh
understanding what I'm
hosting
saying,
games or
Rolando.
nothing like that. Chris Bosh is living on the money that he's made. Because
Rolando,
at the
that
end
is
of the
not what I'm
day,
saying. I am saying that in
I'm giving
today's
you the
world,
perspective.
you're
No, I'm
giving
giving you the
you're giving a
perspective
backwards
from a man.
perspective.
Men
No,
don't
you're giving a
respect
backwards
other
perspective
men
because.
who do that kind of stuff.
But I
And
wasn't talking
that's
about
what
men.
ask
But
any
why are you
man
telling me
in the
about men?
chat, ask any man on the panel. They'll all tell you that. When
But
we
why are
see a
you telling me
man
about men? I
going,
didn't say anything about men. I said Hollywood. That's all I said. I didn't talk about men.
yeah,
How men
but,
feel about her.
people
I said
follow what they
Hollywood,
see in
entertainment
Hollywood.
industry. They are
Yes,
the
but
type
people
of people
idolize
that
these
will
people.
still give this girl a platform. That's all I'm saying. I'm saying that if she
No, I do
parlays
agree
it,
with you, Chris. I think somebody will give her a platform because she did go viral. I just don't think she can sustain it. I think maybe she'll get some subscribe. I mean, if Michelle Obama can't sustain a daggone podcast, I highly doubt that this non-talented individual. But Celeste, I want to get you in there. You've been sitting there making a bunch of faces and stuff, so I want to get you in there.
Did not. Okay, so I actually wrote them down, so I would remember them. I want to go back.
Drop them truth bombs.
I want to go back to Rolando in the sheet. So while it is true that the sheet was used as proof of virginity, what is not often known is that is why the night of consummation was usually extremely painful for the woman, because the man would have to be maybe rougher than he would normally be so that he could make sure he could produce that sheet. So that's the part that it's not that automatically if you're a virgin you will bleed. That's not true. But it is true that if you can make somebody bleed if you're rough enough with them. And so mothers back in the day, you could look at the old movies with the royalty and all them. They used to tell the young girls when they would say, "Will it hurt?" and they would say, "Yes, but only the first time," because it was known that he's probably going to be very rough on the first time because he's going to come out with that sheet. So I just wanted to clear that up, just so that we're historic.
So you're saying that was a form of like propaganda, basically?
No, I'm saying that it is not true that a virgin will always bleed. But because at that time there was no other way to confirm that, and those virginity of the woman was so important to the marriage, because whole families, in some cases even nations, hinged on it. They had to have a level of proof, which meant they could not run the risk of the next day not having this proof. So whatever had to be done to make sure she bled was done.
Okay.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that's on the sheet. I'm going to Kim Kardashian. So the thing with Kim Kardashian, people are very much, she has no talent and all of that. That's true. But what Kim Kardashian does have is what all wealthy people have, which is you can be wealthy if you can make someone else wealthy. And that's what she was able to do. They were able to go to a 2-bit network at the time, which was E! Entertainment, and sell them a #1 show that everybody could eat off. And that's what Kim Kardashian has. Kim Kardashian said, I can make all of us billionaires if we all ride on this train. And this is why people are willing to entertain someone like Kim Kardashian, even Cardi B. You can believe Cardi B's record label is making money off her. So I may not think she's talented, or I may not think Kim Kardashian is talented, but the fact of the matter is, if you can tell other people, I can make money for you, you have a good audience. People are willing to listen. And Kim Kardashian paid off on her bet that she could make money. And for that matter, it was really Kris Jenner paid off on that bet that they could make money tenfold. They absolutely did that. So it's not just, oh, you're pretty, so you'll get a platform. No, it's if somebody can see a way that they can make money from you having a platform, they'll sustain it. It will be sustainable. And then I want to say that I think the sad part of this is the woman who was talking about the wife, when she said it really does look like she doesn't really like him. She's not that attracted to him. Maybe it's the cultural reason, or maybe it's just she was like, look, this is the best I'm gonna get, and I'm gonna take this ride because my prospects are not any better than that. But I don't get the sense that she likes him very much, or that he's the man of her dreams. And in fact, it kind of brings it back to me, kind of full circle to the first video. This is the danger in the idea of settling for the guy you can live with. Because it's going to be hard to spend a lifetime with someone you don't really like. And the last thing I want to say, and hear me out on this one, I am noticing that the men on this panel, I believe, are reflective of the men in the population, find this embarrassment, which it is, to be absolutely abhorrent. Like, this is the worst thing that you can possibly do. Y'all are so serious about this. And I want to say this honestly, and I know because you all feel this so deeply, I'm asking you to believe me with this. I think that when you say, like Rolando said the last time we were together, that a man's reputation is so serious, or the reputation of his woman is so important to him. I really want to tell you again, I do not believe a lot of women understand how important it is to you. I don't think that they do. I think when we sit here and see you all, Spaces said, this is what it looks like when you are trying to destroy a man. And I agree with him, but it almost sounds like a premeditated murder. Like, it is almost the equivalent for you all.
Celeste, it really is that serious for men.
And I believe you.
When I see a man do that, have you ever seen that video on the London train where the guy's doing like a little model shoot right in front of the door, and right before the door closed, the guy kick him in the back? That's what most of the men that I want to do the Oshkosh sing right now. You know,
So-
we just want to kick them in the back and throw them off the train. Like,
So
bro,
I
we can't
believe
even be
you.
on this
And the
train.
reason I believe you is because what I understand about men is that men gain their sense of self in relation to other men. So in the society of men, he has been made a fool in the society of men, and no other men that are looking on go, I hope no woman ever does that and makes me walk in a room where I have to hold my head low and look a fool. That is very different for women. This woman, as crass as she is, sitting on the internet talking about how she was, wilding out in the frat houses and ran through and all of that, she can go back to the society of women and they are not going to ridicule her like that. It's not true for us.
No, not at all.
She will be accepted in the sister circle. She can make amends. She could say, I was wrong. She could say, I didn't know. I wish I hadn't done that, but I've changed, and she will be embraced in the sisterhood. She can be redeemed. She can be recovered, all of that. So what we don't understand is when a mock like that is put on you, 20 years from now, your boys will still be like, yeah, but remember that time your wife? You know what I mean? Like y'all never can get past that, which is why it is so important to you. And you're right for it to be that important to you. But I promise you, young women and women in general do not understand that the way they hold themselves, the way they carry themselves, and the way they walk in this world means so much to you. It really is almost life and death.
It definitely is, but I go right back to the word, and the word says, wives, respect your husbands. And that just goes to let you know how important respect is to us.
No, it's not the respect. It says respect, but if you asked me right now, how should I respect you?
Yeah. Okay.
I'm gonna, but the way I think of it may not be what you think.
Okay, I get what you're saying.
You're losing me.
I get what you're saying.
You're losing me.
Go ahead, Spaces.
I knew, Spaces, you were shaking your head the whole time.
Go ahead, Spaces.
Spaces
Get in
about to
there.
lose it over there.
I'm saying
I
like
can see
you don't determine what your man deems as respect.
No, I'm saying I don't know what it is.
That's what she was saying.
I don't know what it is.
I'm not aiming this at you specifically, Miss Les. I have much respect
No,
for you.
you can. I'm telling you, I don't know what it is. If I would ask him, how can I respect you? I want you to tell me how to do it, because I'm not gonna believe I know.
The unfortunate fact about that is a lot of women don't have that same sentiment as you. A lot of women go into a situation.
They don't know. They don't know. They don't know.
That's the unfortunate fact about it. And it's crazy because we have the conversation, and we don't need to go down this rabbit hole, but the absolute majority of children are being raised by women, but also those children don't know what it means to have a successful relationship. Girls aren't raised to know what it means to be under the tutelage of a man, and a man don't know what it means to be a man of discernment and a man of stoicism at the same time.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So when it comes to this Akash thing, I was shaking my head so much because it wasn't necessarily that I was disagreeing with anything you or anyone else was saying, but it's just like, bro, fellas, if she has a social media presence, a high social media presence, look at her social media, because I specify this. I want to specify this. Do not automatically write her off because she has a social media presence. Look at her social media, bro. Look at her social media, because if she presents herself listen, I said this is a phrase that I go by. Women and careers don't mix. And by that I mean, when it comes to careers, their careers become their child. Their careers become their husband. Their career becomes their number one priority in a way that you will always have to come second or third to. So the woman that you want is a woman that doesn't either has a minimal to low social media presence, and she's not showing herself in a certain way that you will not deem as embarrassing to you as a man in the long term.
Mm-hmm.
There's no way I can believe that Akash, being a virgin going into their marriage, whenever they did whatever, they consummate the marriage or whatever it was, the first time they did whatever they did, second time, third time, that she exhibited the idea that she was a virgin after having all the experiences that she had in college.
Okay, can I tell you?
Well, women know how to fake it. Like, come
You
on
would
now.
not know that.
And if this dude doesn't know any better, but I want to say this right here, and I want to toss this out to the women. And Dion, I want to get you on this conversation because you're making faces too, but you hadn't actually said anything yet. We got to get you in on this. I was listening to something about 4 or 5 days ago, and it was a podcast, and they were talking about this particular story, and it was a young lady who's also happens to be Indian, and she was talking about doing the same things, but still maintaining, you know, her virginity, her innocence, but still maintaining, meaning she was doing everything else but the actual intercourse, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I don't want to be too graphic. I'm trying not to be too graphic. Now, I want to say this. What this young lady was saying is that there was a form of intercourse, but it's not the form of intercourse that would allow you to have a child. I'm going to leave it there. Hopefully you guys have an understanding of where I'm going with this. I still want to keep things PG. And this individual said that they were doing these types of things all throughout college. And, you know, of course, you know, the fellatio aspect of things as well, but still considered themselves to be virgins because they hadn't actually had intercourse in a way that would produce a child. And they considered themselves virgins. So maybe this young lady is saying, yeah, she was, you know, popping her, you know what, you know, all through, but she wasn't actually, you know, doing it in that manner, you know, trying to keep it PG. Dion, I want to get you in there, and I want to hear from the ladies on that.
Yeah,
know,
what do you have to say about that one?
That, I mean, the way you described right towards the end there, it made me straight up remember about a former president saying, I did not have, you know what, relations with that woman. Come on now. He said he did. So I hope that we don't hear, you know, in this day and age of mental fragility and egos, you know, these big egos that people have when they're in the public eye and all that. I mean, I hope we don't hear later that he snaps on her because she has embarrassed him in his profession, embarrassed him as far as his family, his culture, because I didn't know about, for instance, women of this ethnicity coming and wilding out when they come to America, or anybody coming to America and wilding out like that, and then going back home to their country and making like nothing ever happened. I'm like, first, why in the world would you want to be the type of female that, yeah, I went out and I got ran through by the whole, I don't understand that concept at all. But you know, I just keep thinking about and hoping that we don't hear sometime in the near future that this young man snapped out and did something to this woman, because
Or to himself.
Or to himself, right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Because I can just see, you know, you visualize him just sitting in a room and the whole thing just caving in on him. You know, there's not too many people that can handle something like that, especially if you're not one that, you know, if you don't have a solid footing in the God of the Bible, as far as, you know, as far as I'm concerned, I mean, what in the world do you have that's going to stop you from flipping like that? Because we know, you know, within the Christian family, we know that, you know, we're all image bearers of God. And so you don't have the right to, even though it can happen, you can be a Christian and get to your wits end and do something horribly, tragically wrong. You can. But someone who's really following the faith, really following Christ, I mean, that's the only someone I can see who maybe wouldn't flip out on this. But I'm expecting, and I had never heard about this story before tonight, but I'm hoping not to hear something very tragic and very horrible happen to this young lady, because she wilding. She is wilding.
I would agree with that. Hit the like button for me. We're gonna keep it moving. Last topic of the day, and we're gonna get up out of here. And we're gonna get out of here on time today. On time.
Hey, Wise, to the ladies, to all the ladies watching, this is a textbook example of hoflation. Okay? So if you ever wanted to know the definition of hoflation, this is it right here. All right? That's all I wanted to say.
With that being said, we're going to end on something somewhat of on a positive note, and I guess somewhat of a negative note as well. I know you guys have seen the YN quarter zip trend, and yeah, I want to talk about it real quick. So, a couple clips to play, and we'll keep it moving.
I just made a post about this with the quarter zips and the youngins. And again, salute to the youngins with the quarter zips. Y'all looking sharp out here. Don't let nobody tell y'all no different. Now, I guess Miss got a different opinion. This popped up, and this is what's going on. Women calls out black men over new quarter zip trend. Listen to what she said.
I understand what men in general, but especially black men's obsession is with defining themselves by their clothing and not really actively doing any. It's not deeper than just like, well, we can put on suits. I can also put on a suit. What is the point that you're trying to make here? Like, it's like costume. Like, let's dress up as the social idea of success or productivity or decent, productive human being. I don't even understand what y'all are trying to communicate to us. Associating yourself with this, like, stereotypically white style. See how that's, one, offensive to you as a black person, upholds white supremacy, but is also reductive of your, like, humanness. I don't know. It's like everything all the time with them. Nothing latches.
So y'all heard her, right? But look, listen here, miss. First, let me attack the white thing. You attack, oh, y'all.
Trend is anti-black. I'll start this out by saying I think your intentions are good. You think that you're elevating black people into more class and elegance. But you're implying that when you put on a quarter zip, that you stop being this type of black and you start being this better type of black.
Look, this Hotep, Black Hebrew Israelite adjacent energy is exactly what is holding our community back. Look, the reality is, if you wear a soccer uniform, people are going to think you play soccer. If you wear a basketball uniform, people are going to think you play basketball. If you wear a football uniform, people are going to think you play football. And the reality is, if it's 3 a.m. and you have a Nike Tech and a shiesty on, people are going to think you're going to rob them.
We'll leave that right there. Crystal, I'll give you the first word on this. What are your thoughts, man?
Old girl with the blonde hair wants to talk about white supremacy, but that is not her natural color hair. So, again, right there, you need to sit down and shut up. I'm so tired of black people acting like everything gutter bunny-ish and gutter radish is black, and anything
it's authentically
else
black. Authentically
black, exactly. Other than that, if you do anything else different, then you're trying to be white. I just had to go off on I just had to do a video on this woman from America's Next Top Model, because again, you want to keep telling people about this is white supremacy, this is a standard of whiteness, and this is the standard of white beauty. My goodness, why does everything bad have to be black? But then you're upset because everyone looks at you like you're bad. You want everybody to think that. And the fact that she decided to step up there and to tear down the brothers for doing something right, for looking good, for putting themselves together, that's to tell you the type of woman that she is. And again, I don't mess with gutter bunnies and gutter rats. They can keep that mess for themselves. I applaud all of the quarter zip. I love when they throw on the suits. I love that they're trying to up their game because again, you dress for what you want in life. You dress for success. You're either dressing to be seen as, and I had these conversations with my own son, and he was upset for certain things when he wanted to dress a certain way. And I was like, listen, again, the first impression is very important. People, you have to think what people perceive when they see you. And it's not a black thing, it's not a white thing, it's just in general. If I see somebody with things coming out their face and all kinds of 666 tattooed across their forehead, it don't matter if you black, white, Hispanic, Asian, I'm walking like 10 miles down the street away from you because you seem crazy. You seem like you got problems. So again, perception is reality. You should dress the part. And I commend those black men. I love the black guy in the suit who pointed out the uniforms because everyone has something that they put on. And again, you see those guys walking around in those outfits, not the good ones, and have on those ski masks. Usually, especially here in the A, because we've seen videos of it, they're walking around here with all type of weaponry looking to attack somebody. They're not looking to do anything good. They're not looking for anything good. They're looking for something bad. So keep it up, brothers. I commend y'all.
I gotta say, I love it. I love it.
Neat.
It's such a better look than these youngins with half their butt cheeks out or all of their butt cheeks out. I think they make pants like that. I heard they make pants that stop like right under the cheek, which I think is ridiculous. I can't stand it. Oh my goodness, man. When I see my youngest son try to act like he want to, dude, pull your pants up in my presence. Pants up, bro. I can't stand it. And the fact that you have this young black woman get on this internet and disparage young men who decide that, hey, we want to look presentable. We want to look professional. I just don't understand it. Sometimes black people can be their own worst enemies, man. Absolutely. To be honest with you, we got a positive trend going on, and you have people that have negative things to say. And when did dressing a certain way make you either more black or more white? Like I don't understand this. Putting on a sweater and a button up or quarter zip or whatever the case may be doesn't make you white. Like, what are we talking about, man? Have you guys not seen pictures? From the 20s, 30s, and 40s, everybody was suited and booted back in that time frame. Even if you guys remember, do you guys remember the 5 Heartbeats? Do you guys remember that movie from back in the day? 5 Heartbeats. Them dudes every day had on, a suit every day, even if it was mismatched. You know what I'm saying? They made sure they had a button up on, nice blazer, nice slacks. Shoes might be, they might not be the best, suit might be a little on the tighter side of things, a mismatch, but they tried to look presentable. What's wrong with the youngins out here trying to look presentable? I don't see a problem with it. And when I was coming up, we had phases when I was in high school. I went to high school in the 90s. My son said that I'm old because I went to high school in the 90s, but we had phases. We had phases when it was the Dickies, it was Dickie suits a year, high-tech boots, it was, and then we had a phase where we did go the preppy style. We had the polo, the Nautica, the Tommy Hilfiger, the Eastland boots. I don't know if you guys remember them joints. You know what I'm saying? Like, we had those moments. And if you couldn't afford Eastlands, what was the other one? It started with an S. Oh my goodness. I can't even think of it right now. But we had those moments, you know what I'm saying? And I don't see anything wrong with people trying to present themselves in a better way. I don't see anything wrong with that. And why are people out here trying to tear these young men down for doing it? And if you are a young man that is doing this, that's deciding to make that change, you're almost looking at it like, when you hear this, it's like, man, I'm danged if I do, I'm danged if I don't. You know what I'm saying? I'm out here. If I look one certain way, y'all calling me a YN and a thug. I'm trying to change that image. And y'all talking now all of a sudden, you know what I'm saying? I'm bowing down to the white supremacy. It makes absolutely no sense, man. It's ridiculous.
With her blonde hair and her blonde straight hair. That is not her natural hair. So if anybody's trying to be white supremacy, according to her, I would like her to step to the front, because I went to her page. That is not what her hair looks like. I just want people to understand that.
Understood. So let's get it.
With these,
Oh, go ahead. Go ahead.
no,
Go ahead,
no,
bro.
no,
Go ahead, bro.
Celeste.
Go ahead, bro.
No, what I was gonna say is, with these young guys, man, I loved it. I absolutely loved it. Look, if you dress better, you feel better. You feel better, you do better. You know, that's what it really comes down to. And like you said, we're gonna demonize these guys when they're dressing, you know, pants halfway off their butt and everything else, you know, and now we're gonna demonize them, you know, when they want to dress well. You know, I just really don't get it. You know, if you want to dress well, as long as you ain't behaving like one of them dudes off of Peaky Blinders, you know, we all right. You know, outside of that, I love it, man. You know, to me, this is the norm because, you know, I work on, you know, the well-off side of town. And when you see these kids walking around, you know, this is how they dress. This is normal, you know. But in the black and brown community, this is seen as you're a sellout, you're trying to act white. I've heard people call other people Oreo because you're black on the outside, but you're white in the middle, and all this other stuff. You know, it's true. You get that, you know, and I don't get it because right now we have that epidemic that I talked about black on black crime and youth crime. You know, and these guys like in Jacksonville not too long ago, probably a week ago now, 3 young guys, 19, 16,
Oh yeah, I talked about
and
that the other
12 or
day.
13, yeah. And they literally beat a man to death, you know? And I'd rather see more zip-ups, you know, and people taking their schooling, you know, seriously and really planning out their lives, you know, instead of these guys running around beating people to death. So I don't know what this chick is talking about. And this is one of the things that bother me because me personally, when I was 18, my first love was a black woman, you know, and I married her and, you know, we had great times together, you know, until that came to an end. But the point I'm trying to make here is that black women like this make just other black women just look really, really terrible, you know, because they speak the loudest. You know, the good ones don't speak at all. It's always the rotten ones that you see on TikTok, you see on Instagram and on Facebook and talking all this junk, you know, and it's painting the picture for these guys who's watching this that all these women are like this. And anybody with half a brain knows that that's not the case. But, you know, perception is reality to most people. So, you know, if you have women like this running around painting the image of, hey, black women are constantly tearing down black men are going to start looking elsewhere. And that's what you're seeing. You're seeing more interracial couples, you know, be it with a Latin woman or a white woman, you know, and they're literally leaving black women out in the cold because this small group of black women are just so rotten to the core that they're literally ruining it for everybody else. You know, it's like the Democrats. Just look at the Democrats. It's a small group of hardcore progressives that have all the rest of the Democrats looking like, hey, this is what you all are. You know, and that's what's happening here. And it's sad to see. But those young guys, if y'all watching this, keep it up, bro. You know, keep it up. Wear the suits. You know, it'll change the way you think. It'll change your outlook on life. You know, the way you treat people, the way you want to be treated. You know, just keep going on the road you're going, dude, and you're going to accomplish great things in life. That's all I wanted to say on this.
I can dig it. Get in there, Celeste.
So I had a conversation a few years ago with a family friend, a very close family friend who was a young man, and he was somebody who's kind of disheveled, not well groomed, not well kept up. And I said to him, I said, you know, you look dangerous. And he said, well, what do you mean dangerous? And I said, you know, you look like no one loves you. And I said, it's dangerous to walk out in the world and look like no one loves you. and no one cares for you. Because if somebody is a predator or would like to do harm to someone, they'd want to do harm to someone who they believe no one is checking for. So you really want to reconsider walking outside looking as if you don't come from anywhere or from anyone who cares about you. Like you're just out here floating around in this world. I said it's a dangerous way to present yourself. It's very unsafe. And I think that, first of all, I want to say I love the quarter zip movement. I love it so much. I want it to expand. I hope they go further in the movement and take it beyond the quarter zip into all of the other attributes that they believe that lifestyle represents, because I think it is very cool for people to look groomed and cared for and respected and part of a family and part of a community, and not like if I go missing, nobody would know and nobody would care. That is not the way you want to walk out. That is not the way you want to walk outside. And as for the so-called respectability politics, I have been waiting for respectability politics to come back. I think it's been gone too long. I love respectability politics. So as much of it as we can get, I say keep it coming.
Spaces, get in there, bro. I heard, I guess you're on unk status now. You know what I'm saying? At your age, so you're not there with the youngins anymore. You in unk status. You had to correct us the last time we was on the show. So, what are your thoughts, on seeing the youngins, trying to change that perception?
Use them in the way that they clearly want to be used. We just got done talking about Akash Singh's wife, literally saying that she has no usefulness, but she wants to reap the benefits of you being the best man that you can be. He went into that marriage as a virgin man, according to the stories, thinking that she was also a virgin woman. But after this whole thing blows up, all of a sudden it was a ruse. And what she was saying about having her encounters with all of these frat men and all of these, use them in the way that they say that they want to be used. Women say like they want an experienced man, but they also don't want to be treated a certain way. Like you can't, no. Like you can't play both sides. You can't play both sides.
Want an experience? What do you mean experienced man?
Like if you ask the absolute majority of women, would they voluntarily deal with a virgin man? They would deny that.
I don't know about that.
That's why I say the absolute majority. The absolute majority. And you have to really, and I'm trying to veer this away from individual experiences, but you have to ask this question to a 55-year-old woman versus a 20-year-old woman.
So
and I have these conversations. So I'm saying this, it's like we have two, if you guys, not you guys, people in the playback, play this conversation in the playback and play this whole conversation through. We have a woman that's saying, I don't offer anything. All I do is starfish the experience with my husband, and I reap the benefits of him being a multi-million-dollar man. And this woman is saying, you dressing like a professional man is not good enough. Apparently, to this woman, this younger woman, in the way that I just expressed, a man dressing in a half zip or whatever it was, is the same as dressing up in hoodie and the sweatpants. Okay, so it's the same thing. So we're supposed to know what it looks like, but as it pertains to what you deem as acceptable as a woman. You're not valuable. You don't bring nothing to that man. All you talking about is his outward experience, his outward presentation. You ain't said nothing about what he presents to you. You ain't said nothing about what he presents to the world as him being a man. You ain't said nothing about his capabilities, his education. Are you talking about his clothes? You dress how you want to be addressed.
Dion, you want to get in there? Oh, you muted.
It's funny.
You muted.
Oh,
I got you.
okay.
There we go.
It's funny. I was just talking to a friend yesterday, and I was telling him about this whole quarter zip trend, and he hadn't heard about it, so I was just explaining. But anyway, one of the things that I mentioned was like for instance, my dad, you know, and he grew up in the era, I guess he grew up in the 40s and 50s, you know, and so I was saying how I was a full-grown adult before I ever saw my dad in blue jeans. Now, of course, you know, he's clergy, you know, so he walked around in suits. If he wasn't in the suit, he had on dress slacks and a button-up shirt. And it wasn't until, how old was I? It had to be early 40s before I saw him in a pair of jeans. And I'm standing there like, who are you and what did you do with my father? Because he was just from that era where Black people cared about their appearance and the way they presented themselves to
It wasn't just a Black
society.
thing. My dad did it too. Go ahead. No, I was just wanting to throw that in there. It wasn't just a Black thing. My dad
I'm
did it
sorry.
too.
Well, I mean, I'm just speaking from my perspective, but I forget that, you know, not all of us are all Black. I'm sorry, Ro. But, you know, I'm just saying, you know, and that, of course, coincides with the time that Black families were stronger and healthier, you know, and all the things. But I saw that clip with that young lady the other day, too. And it's so funny that she would accuse these young men, because what they're doing is a great thing. I love to see it. But she was accusing these young men of almost, she was like, what are y'all doing? Is this, she didn't say the word cosplay, but that's what she was implying. Like, you know, they were just doing, she said, putting on costumes.
Mm-hmm.
How you saying that and you got a wig on your head? Aren't you putting on a costume too? And I'm not even talking about the blonde part, because frankly, there are Black people who blonde hair literally grows out of their scalp. And they are called the Melanesian people. They're in the South Pacific Islands. And you can just Google them, and these pretty little children will pop up with this beautiful golden hair. So, you know, I'm not even gonna get at you about the fact you got a strip of blonde, even though I know that ain't your natural color. But you're wearing a wig and you have the nerve to critique these young men. I think that what they're doing is wonderful. It's so refreshing to see. And before I got to a point where I started commenting, you know, on politics and looking at videos like that, my favorite videos to watch were Makeup and Get Ready With Me. Love watching Get Ready With Me. Watch them all the time. And so, but I always watch ladies because I'm one, you know, I'm looking for, you know, fashion hacks and all of that kind of stuff. But to see young men and they're putting their outfits together and stuff, I mean, I think it's pretty cool. It's refreshing. It's refreshing to see. And I'd much rather see young men dressing like that than what's been going on for the past several decades with, you know, us having to see young men running around with their bottoms bared. You know, when I found out that there is Bible verse that says that dressing like that is an embarrassment. There's something wrong with young men that think it's okay to dress like that. And it's like Isaiah 20 verse 4. I'm gonna pull it real quick. Hold on. But basically, you know, it was talking about, where is it? Hold on. I got it right here, y'all. Then the Lord said, just as my servant Isaiah was walked naked and barefoot 3 years for a sign and a wonder. I forgot about that part. Against Egypt and Ethiopia. Verse 4. So shall the king of Assyria lead away the Egyptians as prisoners and the Ethiopians as captives, young and old, naked and barefoot with their buttocks uncovered, comma, to the shame of Egypt. It's in the Bible. You shouldn't be sagging your pants. So I am happy to see young men giving a care about the way they look. It looks good on them, and I hope they keep going.
Alrighty.
Can I say one thing?
Yeah, go for it.
Spaces, right quick. So, Spaces, on your point about an experienced man, what I want to say is that I don't think that women have a preference for men with a lot of experience. I think that women have conditioned to believe they have no choice but to accept a man with a lot of experience. I don't think a lot of women even think of that, because I don't think they think that there's a possibility that they could have a man that doesn't have a lot of experience. So I don't think that that's a preference that women have.
So what does it mean when a woman says, I want a man that knows how to treat me?
I think that what that means is that she'd like a man that treats her in the way that makes her feel good about herself.
But she
She
always
women sing songs about
knows how to treat her, is what I'm saying.
Say that again.
She wants a man to already know at the beginning or the initial aspect of the experience to already know how to treat her.
No, you're talking about the physical experience.
Specifically that, yes. But generally speaking, she already wants him to know. I hear all the time. I'm sure we all hear it all
I
the
don't
time.
think that women.
She says, "I want a man that I don't want to build a man. I don't want to know. I don't want him. I want him to already be emotionally
But when
intelligent."
women are talking that way, they're not thinking physically. That's what you think, because you're a man, and
It's
men
experience,
think
though, is what I'm saying.
But
No.
hold on.
But it's not experience, actually.
Y'all talking Bible verses. I'm just talking about some slacks and a nice dress shirt. Hey, fellas out there, y'all just keep it up, bro. Y'all got it going on. All right. The clothes is gonna bring you confidence. Okay, and the confidence is gonna open a lot of doors for you.
Yeah.
All right.
So
So
I think the
when
clothes. I
saw-
think the clothes will open a lot of doors. You know what I'm saying? I mean, just by dressing a certain way, you will be
now-
approached by
That's what I'm
certain people.
saying.
It will open some doors for you,
we
man.
could get
Can I
them,
just point
if
out
we
real
could
quick,
get them
bro?
strapped to some barber chairs,
Can I
and
just-
get those doo-doo locks cut. You know what I'm saying?
Please.
And now we working with something.
Hey,
You
hey,
know
bro.
what I'm saying?
It's funny that you say that, because my son was looking for a job. He's trying to get a full-time job. He actually got one. Praise the Lord. And he had these. Well, he had this afro thing going on. You know how they do this? I don't know, this little. Y'all know what I'm talking about.
What,
And
the
he's a
unkempt?
young man with this big old fro, and I'm like, bro,
Yeah,
you got to
running
cut
around
this hair,
looking like
man.
Q-tips.
Seriously, I'm like, bro,
Okay.
you got to cut this hair, man.
Yeah.
You can't go into interviews with your hair looking crazy like that, bro. You can't go and sit down and you're trying to find a good job that's gonna pay you some bread looking crazy, bro. You can't do it. And he went and got his hair cut, and he feels so good about it that he's come to me and was like, man, that was the best decision that I made. Like, and it was his decision. I'm just there to give counsel.
Why?
I'm just there to
They
give
gonna
counsel.
start finding, dude, with this new style, they're gonna start finding all the goodies in life that me, you enjoyed coming up. All right, making a trip to the barbershop, hooking up with the fellas, talking sports. While you're getting your hair cut, talking about women, talking about this, that, everything that comes with it. These guys have to learn that. Dude, when you change the way you dress, you change the way you think. Okay, when you change the way you think, you're gonna change your appearance. You might start going to church. You're gonna end up meeting a nice woman, and you're gonna start down the path of righteousness. And it all started with the way that you carry yourself.
See, you took it another level, Ro, because there are some people that dress like that. They ain't going on they're not going anywhere near a path of righteousness. They got more baby mamas than anybody else out here in these streets.
Yes, that's
how you want to get
But
addressed.
I'd rather have a well-dressed deviant, all right, than a poorly dressed deviant. Okay, Because, dude, no matter what clothes you got on, I'm a semi-deviant myself, so I can spot
We
one
know.
from a mile away.
We
It takes a
definitely
wolf to
know.
spot a wolf, you know. So I
I
don't care
don't think
what
Crystal
you
would
wear,
disagree with you, bro.
but
really will.
you know,
Can,
well,
can I just
Crystal
say
a
to
little
Dion
different because
thing?
Crystal want him to dress like deviant so she can see him
No,
a
I
mile
don't.
off. You
No,
know
I
what
don't.
I'm saying?
Come
They
through with
coming
that
down the
duffel
street,
bag.
she be like,
Yeah,
"Oh, here come a
right.
pack of deviants."
Yeah, see, that's
You
the problem.
know
He
what
was
I
wearing
mean? I
slacks and
feel
a
that.
button down. That was the problem.
Oh, the duffel bag came through with slacks and a button down. Oh, that's how he got you, huh? Okay,
Yeah,
okay.
see, Crystal
You know, I'm
gets
saying,
got by the dude in
What
the
to
suit.
Dion, what
we
Dion was
never-
saying, I just want to point out that I remember when I was living in Florida, this political guy, somewhere in councilman or something, he pointed out that the men wearing the pants sagging was actually something from prison, that they used that to signify those things. And he said it's so sad that these young men don't know that this is what you are doing when you're dressing like that. It's not a style. You're actually adopting this mentality. So just off the scripture that you gave, and then just knowing that is very sad that they don't realize that is what they are aligning with. They're coming into agreement with.
Yeah. And with that being said, I want to get up out of here. We're at 11:34, 4 minutes over time. I appreciate you guys pulling up today. I want to make sure I show some love to Matumbo 3000 coming through with the $200 super chat. That's what I'm talking about, man. That is what I'm talking about, man. Keep preaching the truth, man. Appreciate you supporting the channel. Appreciate you supporting what we're doing over here at the Late Shift. Dude, that's phenomenal, man.
Hey,
Thank you very
Wise,
much.
one thing before we go. I don't know where Josh went, but before he disappeared, you know, he attacked me a little bit over there looking like an Ethiopian auntie. Look, I know you watching, Josh. All right, you thought I wasn't going to get you back. I told you I was going to get you back before the show was out. It don't matter whether you was here or not. Shots fired. All right, I'll see
He
you
said he
next
looked like
week.
an Ethiopian auntie. We getting out of here on that, bro. We getting out of here on that. I ain't messing with you, bro. Ethiopian auntie.
Boy, you better
What?
stop messing with me, boy.
This
Hey,
guy.
I'm OG. I'm OG, John. Don't come for me. All right.
This guy's a mess, man. I appreciate you guys pulling up, man. Thank you guys so much. If you have not hit that like button, hit the like button on the way out the building. If you are not subscribed to the Late Shift Crew, go subscribe to the Late Shift Crew. Come check us out. We'll be back at this thing, Lord willing, next week, Wednesday, 9 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Come check us out. Thank you guys, man. We will see you all next time. Y'all take care, man. Peace.
Peace.
It's the Late Shift Crew. You already know. Handling this, stacking chips, money flow. It is what it is. Don't play with me. I'm on time, but it's the Late Shift.